Good evening, full council chambers. Welcome to the regularly scheduled July 28th, 2025 City of Rochester Council meeting. City Clerk, the roll call, please.
Salvia.
Here.
Vixen.
Here.
Hauser.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
King.
Here.
Sage. Trent. Here.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I thought you were going to do it.
I always hope people do.
Thank you. The sound of a full council chambers saying the Pledge of Allegiance reminds me of grade school, where we said the Pledge of Allegiance every day. Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. We'll start off. We were going to have a presentation from Main Street, Oakland County, and there was a scheduling conflict, so we're going to reschedule that to another date. So moving on to public comment, I would like to take public comment for anything that is not on our agenda this evening. Good evening, Jana.
Good evening. Jana Yazek, 986 Churchill Circle, and no surprise, representing Assistance League at 204 South Main and 440 South Street. Fight or flight? Fight or flight? From the time I spoke at the combined City Council Planning Commission meeting on January 23rd, I know time flies, right? I have told you that I won't give up and I will return. I keep my word, I follow through, so the only answer is fight. Assistance League has followed the rules, shown you the respect you deserve, and when you say jump, we say how high. You let us know we could publicize open hours at the furniture annex, but prices on the furniture and sales transactions were prohibited. You gave direction to the city manager and city attorney to create a zoning amendment to allow limited retail sales in the light industrial zone on South Street. It appears to me that the zoning amendment did not help Assistance League. However, it did give the city an avenue to further delay our request by adding in the special exception requirement. The city manager announced that South Street businesses could conduct retail sales either by permission or by special exception. That process, I asked for an explanation of the special exception. That process appeared in my inbox, as does all bad news. On a Friday, it closed of business. Reading the requirements, I realized that the cost for Assistance League could exceed $1,000 and would be a minimum of an additional 2 to 3 months delay. Here's a fun fact. $1,000 equates to coats for 67 children in our Operation School Bell program, or 10 beds for newborns to keep them safe from smothering while sharing a bed with others, or clean clothing for 44 survivors of sexual assault. According to the city manager, there are only 2 grandfathered businesses. I'm just guessing, but I bet the other South Street businesses conducting retail sales will do so by permission. I believe that a goal of the city should be to treat everyone fairly and equally, regardless of their name, bank account balance, or connections. Casual observers might say that Assistance League is being targeted, singled out, even harassed. Is it because Assistance League is a nonprofit or because it is a successful business run by 284 strong women? That absolutely could not, would not happen in the nationally acclaimed city of Rochester. There are 2 ways to shut down these casual observers. Require that all South Street businesses conducting retail sales go through the expensive, time-consuming, and painful special exception process, or, as it appears you will do for others, grant the furniture annex permission to allow on-site sales transactions. I've said this many times, but perhaps you didn't hear me, so allow me to repeat it slowly. Our business is our programs. The furniture annex is an accessory. It is a fundraising arm of our business, but still an accessory. We could close down the furniture annex and our business, the programs, would still survive. It would support fewer clients, but it would survive. Is that really what you want? Please consider who you are impacting when you determine the next steps required to allow retail sales transactions at the Furniture Annex. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment this evening?
Hi there, I'm Karen Boyk, past president of the Assistance League of Southeastern Michigan, property owners at 440 South Street, and lease property at 204 South Main. You know, I can walk down South Street and make many purchases. I can buy motor oil, windshield wipers, lawnmowers, swim goggles, swimsuits. I can buy boutique clothing, you know, cute jeans and Paris, France t-shirts, and I can buy a myriad of items for my household. And now, with a new business on South Street, less than a month old, I can buy dog food and other supplies for my pet. All of these items can be purchased at these stores with a profit for the sellers. And it doesn't seem to matter at all what the zoning restrictions are on South Street. It appears they all have permission to sell. So it is such a puzzle to me as to why a group of dedicated volunteers are having such difficulty being able to sell a few items of used furniture to help run their 9 philanthropic programs for the community. We have leased a storefront in downtown Rochester for over 20 years. We run a successful business. We're probably one of the longest running businesses there. We searched for 8 years to find a building in Rochester that we could afford and was the right size. We are committed to Rochester. Last year, we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and thousands of hours renovating that property and bringing it up to your high standards. And now, this city is hindering our progress as an organization to serve the community. Right now, that place is a hub of activity. There are meetings, there are assemblies of the kits that we distribute, and right now, there are deliveries every day of coats, clothing for school children, hygiene kits, all the things we need to prepare for our fall season, where we clothe 4,000 school children. Owning this building is a sense of pride for us, because we are able to help the community. Everything we distribute is brand new, but the costs are rising on these products. Selling furniture a couple of days a week will help us maintain and perhaps even grow our impact in the Tri-County area. Assistance League deserves fair treatment from the City of Rochester. I see no reason why we cannot sell used furniture out of a small room in our warehouse the same way others sell on South Street. We should be allowed a point of sale like so many others in the area. We are disappointed and we are frustrated, but we are determined. We are here to stay. We're hopeful that the City of Rochester will give us the point of sale that we need to sell the used furniture without further red tape and expense to us. Thank you.
Any other public comment, please?
I'd like to ask a question.
If you could please approach the podium and state your name and address. Thank you. And in this part of the meeting, public comment, it is designed to be public comment.
Okay.
We really don't get into debate or deliberation on anything. It's public comment. It's your opportunity to talk to us.
I wanted to ask her a question. I didn't have a statement.
You can state the question.
Okay. All right.
For the public
My name is Patricia Ozibko, and I have been a volunteer with the Assistance League for about 20 years. All of the work that Jana has gone through coming to these meetings, my question is, why can't we get approval? When Karen just stated about all of the people that are selling, all the businesses that are selling along on South Street now, why can't, I would think that you would like us to sell and it'd be good advertisement for this city. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments? So, City Manager, since there is such a large gathering and enthusiastic interest in this topic, and I know that there is 100% support from council as well as Planning Commission for the Assistance League to be able to do this, could you please update us on where we're at and where are we at in this process?
Sure. So the ordinance has been drafted. We've got some comments back from Planning Commission. It's not going to make it to this meeting, I don't believe. There's too many comments. Not everybody does agree with it. There's a lot of loopholes that planning commissioners are finding in it. So it's got to go through the process. So if it gets ready for the August meeting, that's fine. Can't commit to that at this point. The agenda goes out Wednesday. There's too many questions regarding it. So then it would go on the September meeting, and it's the same process as any other ordinance amendment. And it'll work its way through the process and back to City Council. So we're still months away.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, I understand we have a process, but is there any temporary thing we can do, like a temporary thing where they could sell for the month or two while we're still working on it?
I can answer that, and Jeff, you can stop.
And could council make a motion to that tonight if they so chose?
So a video is here. She would talk to you about the fact that you can't allow something in a zoning district that's not allowed. That's paramount to rezoning. We can't, nobody has that authority. It's got to go through a rezoning process. So zoning board cannot grant temporary use approval. So that was taken out in 2014. So it's got, the zoning ordinance has to be amended to allow it. If it gets to be allowed, then they would go through the process for special exception. That's it.
Okay.
Can I ask one more question? I'm sorry.
Sure, you still have the floor.
Yeah. Can we ask maybe the city attorney to take a look at, see if there's something on a temporary basis that we could do to help out? I mean, I understand the process. We have to have, a process. But I'd like to maybe see if there's something we can do to, because I know this zoning thing gets pushed back, it seems like. So, Mr. City Attorney, is there anything, or something you can look at by the next meeting, not to put you on the spot?
You could certainly ask me to look at, city manager is correct. It's, retail is not permitted as of right down on South Street. It's industrial. So what city council has done is directed administration and I to prepare an ordinance to allow some limited retail, which we've done. It just has to go through the process. So the fact that, or the indication that we're trying to prohibit this, all we're doing is effectuating the way it has to go. It's a zoning ordinance that has to go through the process. But if Mayor Pro Tem asks me to look at if there's a way to temporarily allow it, I'd be happy to research it.
Okay,
There's
thank you.
other
Thank you.
support for that?
Councilmember Hauser?
Sure. Two things. Yes, whatever we can do to temporarily alleviate the issue that's been presented, 100%. But the bigger question I have is, my concern is the selective enforcement of this rule as it's applied to all businesses doing business on that street. And here's the issue is, I don't think any of us debate the need for a process. I don't think any of us debate the need and the process, for rules and procedures. But while that's being done, if you hear stories about other businesses doing X or businesses doing Y that are in contravention to what's supposed to be done, that's the rub that I have. And I think that's probably the largest concern from the speakers today. So how do we fix that while we're doing this?
City Manager?
Absolutely. So, to be fair, the dog school was approved as a special project, special exception back 10 years ago. They have the right by the Planning Commission to do ancillary sales inside there. It wasn't because it was their retail operation, it was a dog school. Every other one they bring up is somebody that we didn't know about, and we've shut them down. So we write them a ticket saying, you can't do it. They were told when they came in 8 times that we can't allow retail. I don't have the authority. You guys are asking for things I don't have the authority to. I can't override the zoning ordinance without quite frankly, being sued or go to jail. So that's kind of not where I'm going to go with that, if you don't mind, but you tend to be indicating that I'm holding this up. I helped write the ordinance to allow this, but it has to go through the process. But difference between everybody else and this is they were told before they rented the building, you can't do this unless the zoning ordinance changes. So I'm sorry for that, but that was their choice. They signed a lease after they were told multiple times. So I don't know how that's on the city, quite frankly, so.
So if when they went through the planning commission process, when they purchased the building with the intent of an accessory use,
They were only there for site plan approval because they were changing the parking lot and that's it. So we couldn't take them as a special exception because it's not allowed. There was nothing to ask for other than a site plan, so.
Councilmember King.
I was just going to say, I read through the ordinance. This was a little while back. I do recall that there is a special inclusion for the swim school. I think this came up, they came to city council, they went through the process, it was added as a permitted use. So the swim school, and I believe the auto body shop, and I believe that's why they're allowed to do the accessory sales that they do, because it's specifically written in the ordinance. No other retail is written into the ordinance.
And that's a good point. The swim club, that was a recreational facility. Recreational facilities are a special exception. You can put conditions on it. So everybody followed the rules. The gas oil or the oil that you buy, I don't know where you get that from. We caught the person making clothes, stopped them. The lawnmower guy was selling lawnmowers, I think, that people didn't pick up. We told him you can't do that, can't advertise that. So there's an explanation to every one, so.
So all
They can still be there.
all retail sales can run through the Assistance League's Main Street store. All retail sales can run through the Main Street store. Councilmember Trent.
What my understanding is that there seems to be a disparity between what City Manager Banda is saying, between what they've said, and they said they have gone, and they've gone to these places on South Street, and they are selling. So it can't be like, no, it is, and yes, it is, yes, it is, and no, it isn't. There are, and I was told about a specific location that continues to sell retail. So I don't know how to solve that problem. I guess I could go down the street and see what I could buy. I don't have a dog, but,
Through the chair. So again, the dog place was allowed.
Right.
The swim school was allowed.
There
The
was-
lawnmower, it's not allowed. The patio furniture store is allowed from being grandfathered in for 50 years. Anybody else that's doing that, as soon as you call us, we go down there. Chief John will write them like cease and desist. It's just like Airbnbs now. You can't have them anymore. As soon as we find out about it, then we write the letter to do it. So there's no disparity. I'm not saying people aren't doing it, but when we catch them, it's illegal, so we have to stop them.
okay, so can I?
One more,
Just
yep.
one more thing. So it goes back to my original thought process of making this more retail instead of less retail, of which goes back to the rezoning of mixed use. Yeah, and so this type of response from the public asking for retail keeps me, baffled as to why we are not leaning in more on how to have more retail. I mean, isn't that what we want? More retail, if people want more retail? I don't have people here lined up saying, I want more light industrial. That has not happened yet. But maybe it could. I'm just saying, in my profession, I listen to my audience. Thank you.
But since we're a nonprofit, doesn't that make a difference? Because none of us are paid.
I'm sorry, I have to ask, is there any other public comment? And I appreciate all of the thoughts, and I hope you've heard council's thoughts on this. And, we've kind of made an exception because I think we're all passionate about this topic and trying to, how do we get this across the finish line for you? Any other public comments tonight? Okay.
Can I just ask one question? And I don't want an answer. The dog place that you keep talking about just opened. They just had a ribbon cutting.
There was a dog place before they get grandfathered because they kept the use the exact same.
Same use. It's a zoning thing. I was there, I did the ribbon cutting, I had the same question. I'm like, look at all this retail here.
I have a real problem with your special permission, your grandfather. It doesn't work for me, I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense, it's not logical, but I'm sorry, I apologize.
But I have a question, why can't we just have
You have to
special
come up to, you have to come up to the, follow at least some rules.
My name's Ellen Lauren, my address is 713 Stanford Circle. My question is, why can't we just get special permission?
Thank you for your comment.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
They don't answer
it's public comment, it's public comment. I know, this is a really odd process, isn't it? But it's provide the opportunity for the public to come in and state whatever they want to state, and it's part of the way government works, and.
And Mayor, they,
Yeah.
welcome to come to the office, sit down, and have a good dialogue, but we're supporting the ordinance, so I want you to know that. We want it to happen, but it's just a process. But I'll be glad to talk to anybody. We're not, this isn't us against you, it's how to get it across the finish line as quick as we
Assistance
can.
League has a retail shop on Main Street.
So,
Sell all of your retail products through Main Street. Are you hearing me? Sell all of your retail products through Main Street. And we'll get this through. And we'll get this through. All right, anyone else want to make a public comment on this topic or any other topics? Okay. Seeing none, I'm going to move on to the agenda. All right, we're moving on to the, okay, I figured I might need a minute to clear the council chambers.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. I wish you all were staying. We've got a lot of really exciting things to talk about. Water rates, the library. Please take a cookie on your way out.
That's one I can't, dog place, it wasn't a place, that's exception. He's right. Everything he says. Because they keep insisting it has to be light industrial.
Government. All right, we're still clearing out, but I think I can move on here. Okay, so we're moving on to the consent agenda, council. So item A is consideration of a request to approve the Lupus Awareness Walk. This is desired to be held on October 24th from 10 to 2 p.m. Item B is consideration to approve the Connect the Nations event. This is to be held August 23rd from 12 to 3:30. And item C, consideration to hold Turn Your Town Teal Michigan Ovarian Cancer National Alliance Invitation from August 30th, 2025 to September 27th, 2025. And item D, receipt of the check register. Council. Councilmember Trent.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, A, B, C, and D.
Motion by Trent,
Support?
support by Hauser. Any discussion on the motion? Councilmember Jones.
Just a quick comment. So I'm continued to be amazed about the events we have in our park. That's not counting everything else that's going on in town. So there's 28 events scheduled so far, and I just want to thank DPW. This is a lot of extra work on what you have to do, keeping the park clean, and after every one of these events, setting it up, cleaning it up. So thank you for what you do, and how lucky we are to have a park that is in such demand. 28 events is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a
No,
lot
it is
for them
really.
to be doing, so thanks to
is.
DPW,
Thank you.
all the hard work.
City Clerk?
Sylvia,
Yes.
Vixen,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. We have no old business or tabled items. We have no public hearings. Moving on to item 8, which is legislative deliberation. We have consideration of our contract with the Rochester Hills Public Library. And I see Julianne here. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to chat with you beforehand. It was a little crowded in council chambers. And I see Lauren as well, our liaison. So, City Manager, just turn it over to Julianne.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say thank you so much to Anthony and to Jeff Crott and Julianne and her group that we met with, the board, and for working with us. You know, a couple of meetings ago, we got a temporary contract to make sure that we're good through the end of our present contract, but the goal was to get this finished up, wrapped up, so there's no interruption to service for our residents. So again, kudos to the team that worked together and your team, Julianne. It was great. So she's here to kind of give you an overview of it. It's nothing new no surprises, and I think it's just good news. So Julianne.
Great, thank you. I appreciate the invitation to come up and just take a few minutes of your time. I'm here really just to accompany the cover letter that's in your packet and the contract that you have before you, and just to reiterate a couple of key points. Rochester Hills Public Library is one of the best examples of collaborative partnership in the greater Rochester area. By pooling our resources, the library serves as a shining example of investment in a public good that one community could not achieve on its own. We're excited to modernize our agreements and create mutually beneficial contracts. I'd like to take this moment as well to thank the council for considering the new contract tonight and express my appreciation for City Manager Nick Banda and Director of Finance Anthony Maggio for helping us arrive at this moment today. They are strong advocates for the city, but they do so with the understanding to get farther, we must work together. We have had 5 or 6 meetings over the last 6 months to arrive at a workable, long-term contract that solidifies a partnership between the RHPL and the City of Rochester for decades to come. I hope our track record speaks for itself. The last time we opened and renewed the contract was 40 years ago. Updating these contracts allows all parties to modernize their agreements and keep them in line with contemporary costs for library services, brings our 2 contracts with our 2 communities into parity with one another, and align renewal terms with the calendar year. So let me talk very briefly, because everyone always wants to know if we are contributing more, what are we going to get for this? So the immediate changes, things you might have seen over the last 12 months, include expanding our circulating collection and increasing our budget for what we circulate by 20%. So we're just over $1 million that we spend on material going out to your homes and hopefully bringing lifelong learning to your family and residents of Rochester. We've extended our Sunday hours to be open 7 days a week, year-round, which is 71 hours each week. We've added a library app for convenient access to RHPL from your handheld device. And we just cut the ribbon on a new early literacy bus for service to 17 local daycares and preschools and the RCS summer camps. And special thank you to Mayor Salvia, who was there, and Councilwoman King, who was also there with her family for the ribbon cutting. Additional things that are coming over the next 2 to 3 years. Updates to our furnishings and spaces. So we'll be modernizing study rooms with new technology and lighting, adding new study tables with electricity that was retrofitted for maximum charging abilities from any work table on the 2nd floor, improving our conference rooms with flexible furniture and modern amenities to accommodate groups that range from our scouting clubs to our homeowners associations. We're planning to renovate the multipurpose room to enhance audio and AV technology. So for your residents that use these spaces, it'll have more comfortable seating, improve the layout and acoustics for maximum enjoyment of programs, concerts, and educational lectures. We empower lifelong learning. We've added a digital services department to explore and expand remote online offerings. We're researching when to add more makerspace hours for drop-in sessions. We provide assistance for one-on-one technology in order to help individuals all hours the library is open. And we're offering new programming initiatives. We're taking the budget from somewhere around $60,000 a year spent on programming and enrichment up to $90,000. This will offer more youth and teen programming both inside the library and through outreach efforts in the community and at businesses in the community at large. And we want to provide programming and spaces to help offset the loneliness pandemic that include a human library in the winter of 2026. That's basically where people serve as experts or share their experiences of a certain demographic and act as the human book that you get to check out. We offer multi-generational programs such as our Bookends book discussion that pairs grandparents with young kids and helps them talk about a book in tandem. We have Mommy and Me crafts for babies where we pair a book discussion for the adults and caregivers and a craft for the babies. And we are expanding and enhancing our volunteer network. At RHPL, we live our mission statement on a daily basis. We want to empower your constituents to explore and create with resources that enlighten, educate, entertain, and inform. And I hope the fact that you have the best market share out of all 3 communities speaks volumes. Out of the 13,000 in the last census, 13,000 residents in your community as of the last census, 11,000 of your residents have library cards. They view this as your library, and I hope with careful deliberation tonight, you will choose to extend the contract for years to come. I'm here tonight with our library liaison, Lauren Coleman. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to take them, and I think Lauren's going to be presenting at a future date on an update from the library.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, both of you, for being here. Thank you, Lauren, and I look forward to hearing some more details from you in the future. I'm going to let council deliberate on this, but from my part, I'm very proud that we're going to be able to provide increased services for our residents with this contract. without a tax increase. This council was very, very deliberate that we support our library, but we did not want to increase taxes. That was very important to this council. I'm also looking forward to seeing increased financial accounting and transparency back to the city of Rochester, and I'm confident with a liaison like Lauren that we're going to get that. That's part of the contract, as well as the quarterly reports on circulation and number of card holders. So thank you. Council?
Oh, I was just going to say, I think it's a fantastic place. I'm so thrilled that we're able to continue this. I read the papers, I see what's going on in other communities, and so the risk of losing that or having a loss of service would be terrible, because I'm a regular user of those study rooms, in fact, today. So it's a great jewel in our community, so I'm thrilled that we were able to come up with a solution that works for everyone.
Councilmember?
Yes, public libraries are the backbone and basis of our shared American experience. And they're free and open to everyone, and I love to be part of having that continuing to happen. I would like to make a motion to accept this agreement as it's stated in our packet, and it's dated January 1, 2026, between the Rochester Hills Public Library and the city of Rochester.
Motion by Trent. Support by King. Discussion,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I'd just also like to thank everybody for getting this worked out. I'm also happy that we did not raise the millage on this. We funded it out of our own budget. This is a lot more money, but I think that we were very solid across the council members that we had to keep our library going, and we did that, so I think that's a win-win for everybody. So thank you for everybody who worked on this.
City Clerk, the roll call, please.
Salvia.
Yes.
Vixen.
Yes.
Hauser.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes. Yes.
Motion passes. We have a new
Yeah.
library contract. Boy, that was a lot of work to get here, wasn't it?
Might I just add, as a city resident, I thank you on behalf of my own use of the library and my family's use of the librry. I appreciate everyone who voted unanimously for this. Thank you.
Thank you.
I actually have
Councilmember King?
I actually have 4 books on hold right now. I just texted my husband to go pick them up for my daughter.
Literally right now?
I did. Yeah, I'm sorry, it took a minute.
Councilmember Trent.
I also wanted to thank Lauren Coleman for the extensive explanations and emails. How well you take those notes really has been such a benefit, and I really appreciate it.
I second that, yeah. Honor to serve. Thank you.
Thank you.
And she's newly retired, so she's got lots of time. We'll put you to work.
You can.
Oh, awesome. All right. Moving on to item B. This is a bit of a housekeeping, but this is consideration of an ordinance amendment to sections 10-192 of the International Property Maintenance Code for first reading and introduction. So that means we're just going to move it forward and we can talk about it again. City Attorney, please.
Yes, thank you. Yes, housekeeping matter is a good way to look at it. In the city code, the city adopts a number of codes by reference instead of adopting line by line into its book. The state law lets you adopt certain codes by reference. So whenever there's a code that you want to adopt, you can have in your ordinance says, "We adopt." And so the International Property Maintenance Code is one of those such codes, and you currently adopt it by reference in section 10-192. These codes are state codes, state boards put these together, and your administration ends up enforcing them and applying them. Your building officials, your fire code is by the fire department and so forth. This particular one, right now, the city has on its books, it's adopted the 2006 edition. They roughly come out every 3 years or so, so we're a few episodes. Sorry, Netflix. A few additions. A few additions.
We see how you spend your spare time.
Yes, exactly. A few additions, I'll say, behind, but it's not always crucial that you adopt the most recent one, so long as the current code works for you. In this particular case, we had discussion on the International property maintenance code, and your building official, Randy, indicated that we should probably update to adopt the 2021 edition. You may say that was 5 years ago, but they don't come out every year, and it's always in a lag. So right now, they're working on the 2024 version. Sometimes you kind of let them sit for a bit to see where the changes are, but building official McClure is confident that the 2021 is a good step up for the city. So really, the ordinance amendment that's involved is simply to change the words in section 10-191 to say that the International Maintenance Code, Property Maintenance Code, and it says 2021 instead of 2006 edition is adopted by reference. So that's the ask, is to move this forward for first reading and adoption, or first reading and introduction. And then at your next meeting, we would bring it forward for second reading and adoption.
City Attorney, are there any resources that either council or residents could review to see what's changed? Like, what, is there like a red line version or a executive summary that says, what are we really voting to a change here?
These codes are a bit unique in that they're not, you actually have to buy them. It's not out there just to unless someone bought them. But I don't know if there's necessarily a red line version. I can certainly ask, on this particular one, I can ask Randy if there's a side-by-side. The problem becomes if you don't adopt every single time, there's probably changes that make for changes that you didn't adopt in the middle of it, if that makes sense.
Right. So since we're at 2006 and we didn't adopt 2012,
That's right.
06 to 2021 isn't apples to apples.
I would say that's correct. And there's, from year to year, there's not substantial changes, but I do remember one change, they have different codes, like pools, like pool codes and pools and hot tubs codes. They have fire codes. And one of the changes one year was the removal of the ability or the requirement to have a fence around a pool if you had a hard cover. Some as city council may appreciate that because we addressed that. And we actually modified it. So if there's something in the code that we're amending or adopting, we can actually have our own versions of it. So if you look at our fire code, you'll see that we've adopted the fire code. I don't remember which year off the top of my head, but then we have Rochester specific one that supplement that. So if we ever find that there's something that changed that we didn't like or that we felt was not enough, for instance, the fence issue, we actually said, regardless of what the code says, you have to have a fence. It was a safety discussion and so forth. So I can certainly ask Randy if there's a side-by-side. I'm not sure there is, but there has to be some.
Or maybe he can just give us a few highlights.
Sure. Yeah, happy to.
That would be helpful at a minimum.
Absolutely.
I see Chief John approaching.
If I can, just to give you an idea, there's about 1,800 pages in the code, and the code mimics and kind of runs along with the building code. A great question was asked, why aren't we adopting the 2024 code? And it's because actually the Michigan Building Code hasn't even moved into the 2024, which means that we would be enforcing a property maintenance code that we're not even building to a standard. The biggest change in the 2024 deals more around environmental with things like insulation, from that sort of standpoint. And so that's why you see these two kind of codes linked together, the 2021 building code and the 2021 property maintenance code. And so those are pretty well linked together for as far as what we build to and then how we maintain it. I don't know if that helps or not. And I'm not aware of any red line version other than what the board would use to go ahead and do a review and then vote on the changes to the codes. I'm not aware of anything that they publish from that standpoint.
Councilmember King.
I'm just curious, why are we doing this now versus, have we looked at this before? What's kind of?
Well, because one of the reasons we're doing it now is because we're trying to we're getting caught up. It's kind of like, it was just kind of lost in the back. And as we're looking to go ahead and make sure things are current and up to date, this was one of the things that we noticed that needed to be updated. So that's why we're bringing it to council.
And we have implemented the 2021 building codes, but not the
Yeah,
property
the
maintenance.
2021 building code was approved by the state of Michigan in 2021, or I'm sorry, this year in April. And it's a state law, so it's not something that we have to approve here at the council.
Council, do we have any motions regarding this topic or additional questions? Councilmember King?
I'll make a motion to move this for, this was the first reading and introduction, right? So
No, to move it.
forward to the second reading?
No, this is two first.
Oh, move it to the first reading and introduction?
Yep.
Okay. I will
Motion
make a
by
motion
King.
With a caveat that I would also like to understand from Randy what the big changes are.
We can have Randy come to the next meeting.
Perfect. Motion by King. Support by Trent. Any other questions or discussion? City Clerk, the roll call.
Savia?
Yes.
Vixen?
Yes.
Hauser?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll talk about that next meeting. Moving on to reports and regular business, we have consideration to request and approve the purchase of body-worn cameras in our car and in-car cameras and associated accessories. So moving into the implementation of the budget here, where these are things that we discussed during the budget season. So Chief, good to see you this evening.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Yes, we discussed this during our budget hearings. We elected to go with Axon. Axon's, they've been around for many years. It's kind of the Cadillac company for in-car cameras and body-worn cameras. Axon's located out of Scottsdale, Arizona. The total cost for all new body cameras, each officer would receive one, that's 20 of them, and that's 10 in-car cameras with all the associated software, the licenses, all the different things, battery chargers, brackets. The total cost over 5 years is $345,363.10. That's a total cost of $69,072.62 per year. When we were discussing this in the budget session, that cost was in the low hundreds, but we elected to remove the tasers. The tasers are very expensive. I think we're good with the tasers for at least another year and a half to 2 years. I maybe bring that to the budget hearings next time. But for now, we elected to go this route. What's nice with this package, after 30 months, we will receive new body-worn cameras at no cost, and if they have a new model, we don't have to pay extra for that. And after 60 months, we get all new in-car cameras. And what's unique about this technology compared to what we have now, it has live streaming for the body cameras and the in-car cameras. So, for instance, if one of our officers, let's say, is in a school and there's a shooting in there, and one of the supervisors can't get out of the building for some reason, they can watch the whole incident on the monitor in the dispatch area. Or if an officer is involved in a pursuit, the supervisor can watch the pursuit on the dispatch camera. So that helps out a lot. Also, what I like about this software, it's called Axon Assistance Program. We're running into more and more people that are non-English speaking, driving their vehicles or on the street. With this technology, the individual will speak into the mic. It will pick up over 50 languages. It will tell you what language they're speaking. So the language is transferred back to me in English, and I could speak in the camera and goes back to them in their native language. So that's one of the greatest features of this.
Star Trek has arrived.
It also has a policy chat. If we have a new officer at a scene and he or she doesn't know what to do because they're new maybe, all you have to do is talk to the mic, say, I want the policy on vehicle seizure for drug forfeiture, and it will tell you what the policy is. It also has an AI assistant. It's like a Google. You just speak into it, what's the weather, and it'll tell you what the weather is. So it's some nice features. But it will take 4 to 6 weeks to receive and train all the officers, and that's it. That's all they have to do is, if this is approved tonight, just contact my representative from Axon and just sign the agreement, and the clock starts from there.
Thank you, Chief. Councilmember Jones.
Just a couple questions, but I think you answered one, because I was looking at
when we start paying, and then it talks about being replaced in 60 months. So do we never buy them again? Like, is this forever replacement?
Well, after 5 years, your warranty expires. So let's say the technology is out of date for 7 years, so we'll call it, we get 2 years, there's no payments. But the cameras wouldn't be under warranty. And the issue that we have now is our cameras are out of warranty, there's no replacement parts. So if my camera breaks, they can't fix it, I have to put it away, so. But we do have the option after 5 years, either to continue it without a warranty and roll the dice, or look at another product.
So these will only be for 5 years?
5 years.
Payments for 5 years?
Yes.
The
Yes.
working, okay, 5 years.
Correct.
And then, just a curious question, the savings, how do they, because there's substantial savings number on here. Is that because we're?
It all depends what packages that you have. We have license plate readers, that's another feature we don't have now, we will have. For instance, if a vehicle passes one of the police cars and it's stolen, the computer in the car will alert the officer that the vehicle in front of you, whatever the plate is stolen. So that's a nice feature. And so the more features you get, especially the assistance feature there, that software, that kind of reduces the price. So,
Okay, because there's some
yes.
great savings, obviously.
Yeah.
And then my final question, so it sounds like every officer will get the body-worn cameras,
Yes.
and there's only 10 for in-car.
Yes.
And we have obviously more of a fleet than that. So how do you decide, and will every officer always be in one that has one? So that car's the one they take on shift, or?
So all the vehicles that are assigned to road patrol will have cameras. Their detectives' vehicles will not have cameras.
Okay,
There's
so
no-
just a 10
there's no
of them.
reason.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. This is such important technology for our police officers.
Yes.
I saw that firsthand when I did my ride around last summer, so. Council? Mayor Pro
I
Tem?
make a motion that we approve the purchase of this body cam equipment.
Motion to approve by Mayor Pro Tem, support by Hauser. Any other discussion? City Clerk, the roll call.
Salvia,
Yes.
Vixen,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next up is consideration to request and approve purchase of EMD fire software for priority dispatch. Again, something else really important that we talked about during our budget cycle.
Yes, Mayor, we talked about this in length. For EMD, we do have a program for EMD, but I showed you the program that we have. It's flip cards. So basically, if you're getting a call from somebody and someone's having a heart attack, the dispatcher in there, usually there's one, we're gonna have two starting August 4th. They have to go through these flip cards. There's like a 3 font, you can barely see them. It's just not efficient. The flip card system's basically used as a backup system or a training system. So this EMD software and the EFD, the Emergency Fire Dispatch, this is something we've been looking at. I know Chief John has been looking at for a long time. We are mandated under the Oakland County Medical Control Authority. If you're running your own PSAP, you have to have this technology. What this does is for the public is, so if you dial 911 and let's say you're having a heart attack, or let's say your vehicle's on fire, a set of questions will pop up on the screen. The dispatcher is going to ask you certain questions in order, and basically they're going to get pre-arrival instructions. That's the whole thing. It's pre-arrival instructions. So the more information that the dispatcher can help with, that it's just more efficient overall for both departments, for police and fire. The total cost for this was, I think it was $69,000 for, that's for both softwares. 69,000, I don't have my glasses here.
606 and 37 cents.
Thank you. That has to be paid within 30 days. And then the unfortunate part is, just like any other technology, it's these additional costs each year for maintenance costs and for licenses and for support, and if there's any upgrades and training, that's $9,600. That would be years 2, 3, 4, and 5. This will take about 5 months to implement. This will take a lot longer because there's a lot involved with this. There's a lot of training involved. We have to get every dispatcher certified in this, and you basically kind of have to go through the accreditation process to make sure that we're following all the proper policies. But once we get this in order, and plus once we have that extra dispatcher, so most of the time we'll have 2 dispatchers on duty during crucial hours, this is really going to enhance our efficiency. efficiency, no doubt. And it's something that we have to have anyway, so.
To me, this is critical, absolutely critical. And Chief, I just appreciate your approach and embracing new technology. We got to always keep pushing the envelope with technology. Council? Mayor Pro Tem?
Make a motion to purchase the police equipment.
Motion to purchase the EMD fire software, and that includes the continuing cost as well. Support by Hauser. Did you want that motion?
I don't want to take it all away.
Right.
Don't worry
You get the
about
next
me.
one.
Don't worry
You get the
about
next
me.
one. You
I
get the
just sit
next
at
one.
the end of the thing. It's
Raise
fine.
the
It's fine.
taxes, you get that one.
No respect, I get no respect.
All right, any other discussion or questions on the motion?
you don't see Deb, but she's here.
City Clerk, the roll call, please.
Savia?
Yes.
Dixon?
Yes.
Hauser?
Here. Yes.
Jones.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes. I feel safer already.
I said yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item C. Now we're going to talk about parking. So this also was reviewed by the Parking Advisory Committee. It's a request to adopt one of their recommendations, which would be to designate Lot 1 as a park mobile usage lot only. And we've got a couple options, I
Yes.
think, on how we could do this.
Yes, Mayor.
Okay.
So yes, on June 10th of this year, we did have a PAC meeting. We discussed a number of items. One of the items was lot number 1. Lot number 1's located, it's right off University between East and Water. That particular lot can hold up to 40 cars, and there's no meters in that lot. And if you go by that lot every day, it's at its capacity. It's right across from the east structure. Historically, there were meters in that lot. And from what I understand is when we purchased new meters, that lot wasn't being used that much. Therefore, they didn't think it was, financially conducive to purchase meters for that lot. So what we proposed is, let's try it out like a pilot program. We'll set up lot 1. It would be a park mobile app usage only. And I brought some, today I drove by that Innovative Hills in Rochester Hills. They didn't put meters in their lot, but it's park mobile only, but I'll show you the signage they have here.
They did.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. You scan the QR code.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is how it would be set up, and it's very simple. I went there, I scanned the QR code, and within 30 seconds, I locked up the parking space. You'll see on there, there's a zone number. So if we do a park mobile lot, that would be a designated zone number. So what that zone number does is identifies that lot in the city of Rochester. So once I go on the QR code, I scan it in, it'll say park mobile, it'll show you the zone, you click on Rochester, it says how long you want to park, put how many minutes, and you just put your license plate in there, and that's it. Now, for enforcement purposes, all our officers have to do is walk in the lot, they see the cars, so all they have to do is punch in the license plate on their tablet, and it'll tell you if they paid or not, simple as that. Now, the other option is if you don't want to do, let's say you want to do park mobile, you can make that a pass slot too. People with parking passes can also park in that lot along with the park mobile. Or also you can put a pay station in there. Now a pay station, there's some new technology out there, actually some real nice stuff out there. One station that I looked at, it was $3,500, but there's other ones now that were just introduced to a couple weeks ago. They look just like a parking meter. Matter of fact, they wanted to push them downtown, the company, because they look, so they're sleek, they got lighting on the top, they have big displays. You can just punch in a license plate, but you could put that in that parking lot too. That's only like $1,100. So it's just giving you an option. So the pay station would only be a credit card only. We're not interested in cash anymore. 34% of our parkers now use Park Mobile. About 40, maybe 42% are using credit cards, and the rest is coins. The coins, I notice every month it continues to drop, and the Park Mobile apps and the credit card use start to increase. But most people use coins really when they go into a storefront and they want to stay like 10 minutes, they'll just put a quarter in, 50 cents, and they run.
That's what I do.
That's what
But
I
the
do.
nice thing about our meters too, I just want to, we do have a 10-minute grace period now, and that's
Yes,
great.
10 minutes, chief.
Our complaints have gone, I mean, we don't even need any phones anymore, they're not ringing, so. But no,
Thank
that's
you.
really helping out a lot, but again, this, and the main reason we discuss this is, right now is the opportune time to make this change, because if you look at that area, you got farmer's market, you got the granary, you're gonna put a pizzeria down there. That's being, there's apartments down the street going up, so everything's being redeveloped in the next year, year and a half, 2 years. So I see a lot more traffic down there, and it'd be nice to have that lot open for customers, and let's start utilizing that the east deck. If you go on that east deck during the day, Monday through Friday, I will assure you, it's about 70% empty. 70% at least. Now, on the weekends, it gets a little bit more full, but during the week, there's nobody in there, especially the upper deck. There's cars in the lower deck, but not the upper deck. So that's one of the reasons, the main reasons we discuss this, because it's the timing of it. There were meters in there before. Let's try the Park Mobile app, and if you don't like the Park Mobile app, we can always change it. Or we can always add a pay station in there.
Chief, could you clarify the cost? I'm a little confused. So the cost of if we put the signs up and we go with the QR codes versus if we put the station in? I guess I'm confused as to the cost of those two.
Yeah, so if we do Park Mobile, there's zero cost to the city, because Park Mobile wants the business. So when I use a Park Mobile app, basically, they get, I think, 50 cents a transaction, and they will pay the city, I believe, I don't have to ask Marcy, I don't know if we get a check every month or every quarter from them.
She's shaking her head, yes.
Yeah, so I guess I was right on one of those. Yeah, so there's zero cost to the city. Now, if we did a pay station, if we get the one that I was looking at, it's a little bit more noticeable, it's about $3,500. It all depends what features on it, but if we just wanted straight up credit card, it's $3,500. If you want to use it for currency and coin, it's double, but we don't want to do that. So Park Mobile's free, or you can get the pay station for $3,500, which will pay for itself probably in a couple months.
Okay, last question on the Park Mobile option. How does Park Mobile know if I said I'm going to stay here 4 hours and then I leave after 1 hour?
Well, you know, Park Mobile knows, like, for instance, if you use Park Mobile on Main Street, it knows that it's 3-hour limit, and it won't let you renew it.
No, but I paid for 4 hours.
Right.
So now I leave after 1, that spot is open.
Right.
So I'm the next person that comes in. I say,
Right.
hey, there's a spot, I want to park there.
You just start from zero again.
So
You
we
just
get
made
paid
money.
twice. We get paid twice.
Yes, you're
Okay.
getting paid more.
It's not assigned to a specific spot.
Right.
It's just the lot, the zone.
Right.
That's what he's saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And Park Mobile knows exactly how long, like, if the lot's a 12-hour parking and you want 14 hours, it won't allow you to do 14 hours of
Okay.
parking.
Okay. Council?
Am I up?
Yes,
I'm supposed
you're
to
up.
be watching. isn't I?
Councilmember Jones?
Okay, I just want a little bit of history, because I'm a little protective of free parking.
Yes.
And so I just want to understand the history, and I understand about employees, because you're saying that lot's full of employees. I mean, I'm proud to tell people we do have lots available in town that do
Yes.
not have a fee. We compete with an area that doesn't charge for parking, so
Yeah.
make me feel better about that.
Well, the history is, and this is only my second year here. So
Yeah, so the history is
the
short.
only thing I can tell you is that lot used to be a paid lot. It was totally underutilized. And that's why we have that beautiful structure right across the street that nobody wants to park in it. We would like to push the cars in the structure to open up that area for people that are visiting the town here. Now, I will assure you, if you go down there first thing in the morning, that lot's gonna be filled. And it's not being filled by people that are walking around here, it's being filled by people that work down here.
So what do we do with those employees? Then what is the plan for their
We'd like to
parking?
encourage them to park in the structures. And there's other lots to park for free.
So what, the three lots that are left then are the one, the farmer's
By the
market?
bridge, the farmer's market, and I don't know what the future of the parking in the farmer market's gonna be once that's developed.
I know.
And then you have the lot in Firestone. You have over 100 spots in that lot.
Okay, it is concerning to me to take this lot and make it a paid lot.
Councilmember Trent?
Yeah, so is this, what you're saying, a test? So does that mean this is a test to start getting rid of all the other meters, and then we can then replace it with this, which looks like it's very affordable compared to having somebody walking around?
We just discussed it as a test for this particular lot. Now, in the future, there's been a lot of suggestions what we can do for the city, but for now, we're just focusing on this particular lot.
Well, I am a proponent of free parking as well, but I do like the idea you're looking at cheaper options and the meter issues that we continue to have. So I hope that this is either one of these, like the pay station, my preference would be you start replacing those other meters. But I know that there's a few lots for free parking. We're competing with the village and basically the village, and they have free parking. So that's my statement. So I'm not sure which way to go on this, but I always appreciate everything you do.
And the thing is, if we try it, and it's, let's say, 6 months or 3 months, if it doesn't work, then we can always go back to the old system. It's all you have to do is call Park Mobile, say, hey, we're not gonna use this lot anymore, and we get the Department of Public Works there with their screw gun and unscrew.
Dumb signs.
I do like that. So
That's the nice part about this. It's not like we have to rip a meter out.
Meters out, yeah.
A pay station from the ground,
Yeah.
but the future here, eventually in 5, 6 years, is to remove all the meters and have pay stations. That's the future.
I like that. I would also say that I want to be careful about saying employees get free parking. It's okay if you're an employee and you find a free parking spot because, let's say that maybe they're not the business owner, they're the employee, and the way prices are going up, $30 a month is a big deal to a lot of people. And I got to put my way back machine hat on. It was a huge difference in my life when I was a single mom.
Understood.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, I also think that, I don't know why we don't keep that as a free parking lot. We don't have very much in town, and you say it's workers, well, I assume those are low-paid workers who money is tight and stuff that we want to encourage. People have trouble hiring people these days. So to me, I say leave this as a public lot. It's not that many spots, it's not going to cost the city that much money. Thank you.
Councilmember King?
So I'm fine with this. I think it's a great solution. It's cheap to implement, really just the cost of putting up a couple of signs. My husband buys one of the $30 a month passes. I think if, people are concerned about employees, maybe we talk about, is there a way for businesses to help support getting those passes? Do we look at that rate if we're concerned about the parking? There is still free parking at the library. Not that we want, and people use that to access the trail, not that we want to drive all employees there.
Library.
It's for the library.
That's for the
Well, it's for the library, but there is, and people use it.
Yeah,
and
but
they can-
that's not, okay.
And they can walk, people use it to access the trail. If it's really that financial of an issue, there's
Well, right now, employees, correct me if I'm wrong, employers now can buy passes already for their
Yes.
employees, right? How does that program work real
Well,
quick?
we just implemented
They can go
a
right
discount
online.
program.
Yep. Well, that's a ticket validations for their customers. We lowered those rates, but any employer can buy a pass, or employee can buy a pass for the structure, or a deck card for the structure, or a pass for one of our lots.
And that's the $30 a
$30
month?
a month, so that's a few dollars a day. And there's plenty of parking in our lots. There's only a few that are packed every day, and this is one of them, and then the Firestone lot at capacity, probably 97% capacity every day. The rest of the lots,
Yeah. So I love the opportunity of using this lot to test this new technology because it gets us out of a trouble spot with the parking meters but I like the idea of testing it out. So using this dedicated lot to test it out, there's no cost to do it. And we have first hour free in our structure, first hour free, and they are not at capacity. So I think we should give this a try. Councilmember Hauser.
One quick question. Chief, with respect to the sign here.
Yes.
From an aesthetics point of view, Are these signs going to be in front of every single spot, or is it going to be
No,
one
just
dedicated sign?
One.
I just
We're gonna-
don't want a
there's
sea
a-
of
I
signs.
believe there's 2 poles, we'll put them on
Okay.
the poles, we'll put an A-frame at each entrance, and that's it.
Okay, all right.
The
So
last thing we want to do is put 50 signs.
that's what I don't
Thank
want
you.
either. Okay, thank you.
That's a
Yeah.
good
All right.
question.
Councilmember Trent?
So this is, speaking of aesthetics, this is exactly what it's going to look like?
No, that's just an
what
example.
Rochester
Okay.
calls it.
All right.
And actually, they look a lot nicer than that ink that I printed, but.
There's some hierarchy and
But
some
it's,
stuff with the typography I
you
would
can
change,
put-
but
You
I'm
can
just.
design it any
yeah.
way you want as a team, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
All right, council?
Well, I guess from a discussion perspective I think based on what was said, if we were to go the sign route, this is a zero cost, correct? Other than the cost of the sign, which is de minimis, right?
Zero cost, yes.
Okay. And we could pull this anytime we wanted, correct?
Correct.
And you have a first hour free parking right across the deck, or right across the street, right?
Correct.
I think for the very small cost of implementing this, the low impact it would have from an aesthetic, and the fact that we control the timing and how long the duration is of the program itself, I would be in favor of this particular, just one singular sign, 2 A-frames, and come back in 6 months and see how it was going. And if it was going fantastic, we could have a discussion. If it was universally panned and everyone hated it, then I think we have the ability to say, no, we want to take it back off. But I don't think it's a big ask or a big risk to give it a try for 6 months.
Councilmember Jones?
I don't know if that was a motion, but.
That was a motion.
That was so I'm going
I
to make a
gotta-
motion to do this one singular sign, 2 A-frames for a period of 6 months and come back and revisit it at that time.
I'm seconding it exactly how he said. I will agree with this only if we really come back and look at the data, see how many people are complaining, see how many employees have complained, employers, employees, and we look at it. Then I second that.
We have a motion, we have a second, so 6 months, this is end of July, so that's end of the year, Chief. So 1st of January, if we could have a report on it, assuming if it passes. City Clerk?
Salvia,
Yes.
Vixen,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Trent.
No,
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
We'll see you in January on this topic. Okay, moving on to item D, which is consideration of a resolution to adopt and revise water and sewer rates effective September 1, 2025. So the Infrastructure/Asset Management Committee has met and has reviewed these rates in this presentation with our water consultant, which is Raftellus. So it looks like Marcy is approaching to take us through this information.
Hello, thank you. We have some changes to our process. We have some new board members on the Asset Committee. So we'd like to say thank you to Christina Find and I may have mispronounced her name, and Mike Hathaway from the West Side, so that we have a representative from the East Side and West Side on the Asset Committee. So that kind of changed how we present our proposed rate tonight. And Mike Hathaway said, why don't you give a little bit more background so that the public and every listener might understand the process that the city goes through. So every year, we look at the rates from our partners. So we have a partner on the sewer disposal charges. We also purchase water through Shelby, that's Gleewa Water. And then we have the well water system for our customers. So we gather all of this information. It starts in February, March, April time period, and we start adding to our rate model that is developed in partnership with Raftellus since 2020. And we input the data in about changes that we're facing, different rates that we're facing for sewer disposal, for the sewer infrastructure projects, for the rate that we have to pay to Shelby, and for the rates that are ultimately applied for the groundwater that we supply on the west side. So we put all of that in to the model, and the goal with the model is to smooth rate transition year upon year, so that when we get a 9.5% or a 7.1% increase from one of our partners, that you, as a resident or a business, doesn't see a big spike year after year. We try to smooth that out. And that's been a success with the Raftellus model that we update. It's really provided us, and this year is not an exception to that. So we've internally vet the model, discuss it with the DPW, with the finance team, with the city manager, call an asset committee meeting, discuss that with the principals in that. That's Mayor Salvia, that's Mayor Pro Tem Bixson, that's Councilperson Hauser, the two residents, and a lot of city staff. So, so we go through it, we review the findings, we discuss the topics, and after we did this, the asset committee would give a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and that's what's presented here to City Council tonight. So the sewer disposal charges, this is just a small piece of that because that's a little bit complicated. Ultimately, GLEWA controls the sewer treatment, but we go through OMD, Oakland Macomb Drainage Disposal District, WRC, and the Clinton Oakland Sewer Disposal System. There's a lot of acronyms up here, but the bottom line is that we don't have the sewer disposal system within the city of Rochester. So we partner with this bigger group, and we have to pay accordingly for infrastructure changes as well as the commodity of cleaning that sewer that ultimately ends up at GLEWA. So that gives a little background on the rate process. And then the other thing that Mike, the new asset resident committee member, said is maybe it would be helpful if we explained the dual water system as well as the unified sewer system. So I won't belabor this because most of you know that on the west side we supply, and that's 2/3 of the supply, but that is supplied by groundwater that's pumped and treated and delivered from our own sources. So on the GLEWA side, on the east side, that comes from Shelby via GLEWA, and that is delivers treated water to the primary customers on the east side. But we all of the customers and businesses all use and have the same sanitary sewer system. So those costs don't vary from whether or not you're on the GLEWA side or whether or not you're on the well side. So that kind of is part of the modeling. So the other thing is, in that model, we put in infrastructure projects that we plan internally at Rochester. And over the next 3 years, we're proud to state that we'll be putting in over $4.8 million into projects that will go toward treatment plant upgrades, just shy of $1 million, storage tank improvements, $362K, Main Street water main upgrades, taking 70, 100-year-old water mains to new and larger water mains. That's going to be around $3.5 million. So $4.8 million are baked in to what's being proposed tonight. So why does the system matter? The system matters because it costs different amounts to give the customers well water versus the treated water from GLEWA. So when you see the ultimate proposal and you wonder why there are different rates, it's commodity and it's those factors are impactful. So on this sheet, on the well side, we break it down to a low user, which would be 15 units per quarter, to a medium-sized user, 30 units, 60, and 100. Those same breakouts on the GLEWA side. And with the proposed changes for the quarter, because we do quarterly billing at the different levels, you might, or if the proposal is passed tonight, you would have a $10.73 increase if you're a low user on the well side, 15.53 for the medium-sized user on your quarterly bill, on the 60 or the high user, $25.13 to $37.93 of change on a high. And then the same breakout for the GLEWA side, 14, 22, 38, 60. So your annualized change is in this column, but what that is equivalent on a monthly side is, $3 per month for a low user on the well side, or $4.69 on the GLEWA side. So we did a comparative analysis. So on the west side, this is what your current bill at the current rates would look like, and then with the proposed rates, and then that monthly change is equivalent to $5.18 on the well side, $7.44 on the GLEWA side. And just as I don't know if it's a fun fact, but an interesting fact, when we bill in cubic feet, not in gallons. So if you were to change the proposed rate into gallons, you would only be paying, and that's the entire bill, you would only be paying just slightly more than a penny per gallon on the well side, and still under 2 pennies per gallon on the GLEWA side. So at the end of June, a gallon of milk costs $4.03 in the Detroit area, and a gallon of gas last Friday averaged $3.27. You're getting reliable, quality water at pennies to the gallon. So we just thought that was interesting to kind of compare it. The next is a rate snapshot that we always provide annually to show you back 5 years with the proposal. So very moderate changes are being proposed, and you can see those historical changes too with the breakdowns that you would see on your utility bill. And then, just like we have a unique system where we have 2 sources of water, we offer very unique tools in Rochester. So one of those is a leak alarm notice. So our metering system will detect potential leaks when water is flowing through the meter for a continuous 24 period of time. And why that is important is on your next bill, we would mail you, rather than the small postcard, we'd mail you a full-size bill, and in the bottom left corner of it, it would have a leak alarm notice. So this is a proactive tool that the city provides to residents to catch leaks early and help them save money. And it's a service that we're not aware of any other communities in our area that offer that. So what do you do if you receive a leak alarm notice? You would contact the city's billing department, and we would put a work order in with the Department of Public Works. They would pull a 90-day read from the day that you called back 90 days, and they would be able to pinpoint, because it shows and catalogs where water is used over that time period. So you would know if it's when you're running your sprinklers or not, so you would potentially be able to identify where your leak occurred. If it was continuous, maybe you have a leaky toilet, or maybe you have a leaky sink, but we would be able to give you some data to help you pinpoint that problem. Another thing that you would do is you would contact your plumbing professional to help you with repairs. And then we would encourage you to continue to track your usage. And there is a quick FAQ on the city website that identifies what's the meter look like, because many people don't know what their meter looks like. It shows you how to activate the meter screen, so you can see if there is a spigot on the actual LED screen, then you still have a problem. So it's a proactive tool for you to kind of follow up after you've done your repair to make sure that you've caught the problem. And then we have a little video that kind of talks about the leak alarm on the website as well. Another unique feature that the city offers is the irrigation meter program. So it's a second meter that you can purchase that if you are using the water for outside purposes, you get a sewer discount for that water that runs through that second meter. So it is also available for us to do some background investigation before you decide. We'll do a break-even analysis. We'll usually get that to you in less than a week, usually in 3 days or less. We'll use your own usage data and find out if it makes sense for you to purchase the meter and have that going forward. Other ways to save. Conservation is always something we encourage. Water conservation, checking sprinkler settings, utilizing smart sprinklers. We encourage using native plants, less turf thirsty plantings. And if you do get the leak alarm, don't let it wait. Check and repair those leaks. Here are resources for our residents. So we mentioned leak alarm, irrigation, meter information, break even. The Oakland County offers a RAP program, and perhaps that you would qualify. It's financially driven, but there's information on our website if you'd like to learn more about the RAP program, and then ways that you can view your water bill online and different ways to pay. So we appreciate the opportunity to share what's going on with the projects, what's going on with the rates that are being proposed. And if you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer those.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcy. I can tell you talk to residents at the front desk because you're able to break down a pretty complex system with two water systems in very understandable ways. Thank you. I think that was very helpful for the public. I think you covered a lot of the things that we talked about in the asset management meeting. I am incredibly proud of the fact that we have been able to plan and be fiscally responsible to cash flow fund $4.8 million of future water projects. It's incredibly important that we have the highest quality water, which we continue to have, and plan for these improvements that we have to continue to do. We all live in an aged infrastructure system in the state of Michigan. So thank you for that information. The other comment that I wanted to make quickly is that we have continued and in the past have studied other methods for the east side in particular to connect into Gliwa we have turned over every rock we could think of. And so, obviously no one ever wants to see rates go up, but we continue to look and study of any way that we could reduce those rates in the future. So Councilmember Hauser.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. And I guess I really want to thank Marcy and Anthony and Nick and Jason and Mr. Banda for all the work that you've done, because what you have been able to do is take a very complicated and challenging scenario and break it down into terms that are easy for people like me to understand, because ultimately we have to make a decision as to whether or not to accept the rate adjustment, which no one ever wants to do, but you did it in a way that's persuasive and, more frankly, is understandable, so we know what we're talking about. Obviously, again, no one ever wants to raise rates, but I think that the information that's been presented to us both this evening and in the asset management meeting has been incredibly thorough. And we looked at every single possible scenario to say, how can we stretch these dollars as much as we can while still providing the same exact or better service than we've become used to. So that being said, and based on the information that I've seen, I would be in favor of a motion to adopt the proposed rate changes that have been presented to us this evening.
Thank you. Motion by Hauser.
I have some questions before I
Okay.
do that, so I don't know.
Support by Mayor Pro Tem. Discussion on the motion for Jones.
Yeah, if you don't mind, going back to like the fourth slide or so, I'll tell you when nope, forward, I'm sorry.
This way?
1, 2, yep.
and keep going?
This one,
Okay, sure.
I think I just wanted to digest this a little bit. So just review again. So this total is for the quarter then?
So the increase would be, since we typically bill quarterly. So for the proposed rates, most individuals are around 30 units of usage. So your quarterly bill would increase on the west side, $15.53, and on the Gliwa side, $22.31.
Okay. So I was looking at the annual change. So that final column is yearly.
Yeah, just so that
Okay.
you can see the impact per annum.
Okay. I just wanted that clarity.
Thank you. Councilmember Trent?
Yes, this is about the quality of the water. Is it about the same from our well to Gliwa? Because I've read and
Right.
done research that the quality is super, super high on Gliwa and our well water. Like it's.
We
really-
actually post the water reliability study, and you can read that, but we always are at the top of the spectrum on that. I don't have the actual data in front of me.
That's enough, but that is what I just wanted to
Correct.
make note of that was my understanding.
good.
And
My
I kind of
husband
think
has
this
been
is a
telling me
little-
for years.
Well, and I think this is kind of interesting. PAR uses our well water within their system because it has less chemicals added to it. So I think.
Sterile products.
Yeah, I think
uses our well
I
water.
think that kind of tells a very good story about it, where, we have to maybe add salt on the well side and do some different things, but the people that make our medicines are using our well water, and I think that speaks volumes to the purity of it.
Thank you.
Volumes. I'm going to go back to Mayor Pro Tem. You said you had a comment?
Yeah, water always is a complicated topic, but in some respects, it's not that complicated. Gliwa, which is Detroit Water, keeps raising our rates, and there's nothing we can do about that. And we are just passing that on to people. And the city is not making a profit on the water like a lot of other cities are. So between passing on the rates and then having just enough to cover our infrastructure without having to raise taxes, to me, this is the best way we do it, and it's the most fiscally responsible way as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember King?
Comment, a couple questions. So just thank you for the incredibly detailed report. This is really helpful. I know we talked a lot about the Gliwa increase when it came to, I think it was like rebuilding the storage tanks that they had, and they passed a lot of that cost on to us. So I understand reason for increases, and obviously we're making a significant investment in the city of Rochester. You've put it together really nicely for us, so thank you. When it comes to the investments that we're making, the water main replacement under Main Street, that's part of MDOT, are we receiving any state funding for that, or is the city planning to fully pay for that?
We're planning to cash fund it.
Okay.
So we had originally believed that we were going to get some funding from Senator Weber, but that didn't come through. There was, quite a bit of turmoil in Washington DC, so it's kind of understandable that there was some back and forth on what actually came to fruition as far as grant funding. But we continue to look for sources of lower interest loans like a DWSRF or SRF. We continue to look for grant opportunities for free funding or supported funding. But for the MDOT, the 3.5, that's right now, we're planning to cash fund that without bonding.
Okay, and so
27,
these,
we have a couple more years.
so these
2028.
increases are accumulating enough funds to be able to support that?
Correct.
And then my only other comment, because when I first moved to Rochester, I'm like, why are the rates so different, and understanding there is an added cost for those that are on the city well, that I don't know that everybody, if you live on the east side, is aware of it, but if you live on the city well, if you want to maintain, good water quality, you do need a water softening system. There's a cost to that, and your fixtures naturally are going to wear out sooner than others. The lime calcium buildup on those, it destroys the finish on your fixtures, your shower doors. So there's certainly an added cost. So while it may look like the well side of the city is paying less, those costs are, not reflected in the water rates.
True. Councilmember Hauser.
I lug down bags of salt once a quarter into my basement,
Oh, I didn't even count the salt.
So,
Yeah.
yes, anyone who wants to help, come right ahead, yeah, that's fine.
That's great.
Thank you.
Council, any other questions or comments on this? Any other discussion on the water rates? It's an important topic, and I'm incredibly proud of both the quality of our water and the cost of our water and the planning that we continue to do. And I'm hopeful that we find some money, some outside sources for that Main Street reconstruction. So, City Clerk, the roll call, please.
Savia.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Hauser.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Motion passes. Those new water rates go in September 1st? Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item, which is quarterly financial report. So this is the fiscal year end, June 30th, 2025. City Treasurer Maggio. We've got quite the presentation in our packet on this. I know you and Marcy have worked hard on this.
It's a continuously evolving quarterly report, that is for sure. Always welcome feedback on changes or anything else for that, like making that bigger. Let's see, we'll do this instead. All right, council, we are now happily moving into the next fiscal year. The city's fiscal year runs July through June 30th, so we just wrapped up fiscal year 2025. And with that, we have our usual presentation, which this is both the quarterly, but then also a quick overview on where we tentatively are at the moment for the year end. And with that, we always know that we will receive typically in either November or December from the city's auditor. We'll provide the audited financial statements with a much more in-depth view in that comprehensive financial report than just the normal quarterly numbers. But we like to keep this rolling as we get through the auditing season, which is always very exciting. So in your report, we of course have all the normal documents. There's only 4 requests that are being asked of council to say, all right, we're looking at what has changed from prior quarterly reports, which really would be the adoption of the budget was the last crack at all of the financials. And so this is changes from the adopted budget to the FYE 26 budget. And these 4 items here are based on what was left in 25 as well as a contract change. So council is aware that anytime we have something known, that we put a budget amendment request in at the next quarterly report. If it's something that we're watching, we just keep it on the watch list, but some of these are ones that are known. So for instance, the very first one, there's the 4 here, $83,052. That is the now finalized amount as an increase for the assessing contract from Oakland County at 83%. Council is aware of the prior discussions at June meetings. I think the first meeting in June when we had the assessing contract we reviewed. Mm-hmm. And this is now just the reality of what that means. So we have that in here now as a request tentatively now for all 3 years, because this is kind of a watermark reset from their viewpoint. And so we have that request annually for an increase in expenses, and there is no offset for that. The second one is part of the cemetery work. We're finding a lot of tree work needing to be done in the cemetery between the dead trees, some dangerous trees. If you are around the cemetery, you'll notice there's been a lot that have been taken down, some dangerous, some have fallen, and we've had to just go in and deal with it. So this is work for tree work that had not been completed by June 30th. So this request is to roll this forward because we still want to utilize those funds for the trees, and that's $15,107 in the cemetery fund. Next one is the $65,038. So we had kind of a bit of a scheduling change. As council remembers, this past year, DPW water foreman, Corey had come and requested about the emergency coming off schedule from the water pumps. So we have some kind of all things grouped into that. We have some scheduled. We have some that, well, the one that was scheduled is not needed. And then also at the treatment plant as well for plant upgrades. So that's all in that 6538 number that we did not do in this fiscal year by June 30th, but is still on the list. We want to roll that forward because we want to do that over the next few months. And the second one, or the last one on here, 61,184. So we had originally in the budget work being done here with City Hall, like the Civic Center campus here. And most of that work was being tied in with redoing Lot 10, which is the parking lot right over there by the sundial. We're doing those both together as one project, and Lot 10 is the leading one on it. So when that work is getting done, then we want to redo the Civic Center area here, which is going to have some additional parking spaces added, some moved, and then a berm rebuilt, and with the butterfly garden that's over on the north side of the sundial between the river and the sundial. So with that, the 61,184 is being asked to go forward because the Lot 10 project is going to be coming up in this year, and it was not prior to June 30th. So that is, those are the 4 requests. Moving to our next piece. Oh, sure.
Just quick.
I'm happy to take what, if you have
Do you
something
care
on
for-
what we're
okay.
talking about, please, then.
So the 83,000 is the only new funding that was not included in our next budget, correct?
Yep,
Okay.
all these were already approved and allocated and were in the 25 budget. These 3 are being asked to roll forward. The 83,052 for the assessing is brand new. That did not exist.
And what line item, or where would that come from?
That is going to come out of general fund.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
And if you remember, we had about 100,000 going to the general fund when we approved the budget, so that assessing contract ate up most of that.
That was sprung on us at the very last second.
You could not get more last second than that. In fact, I think it was the day after we had our budget presentation for adoption was when.
It was.
When that got sprung on us.
No one's
So
upset. No one's upset about it.
Carry on, Treasurer. Carry on, Treasurer.
There's plenty of news articles about what's going on at the county, so I will leave it at that. Okay, so we have now moving on to the next section here. So what I want to point to is we have the amended budget and then each of the quarters. There will be changes, and there's always changes between the pre-audit and the final numbers. So as invoices and things are coming in up through the end of July, just procedurally, department heads can still post back to June 30th. So, that invoice finally came in, we're now paying it, things can get still posted back to June. After that, starting in August, it has to get approved by either Marcy or myself to get dated back to June, because in August, that's when we start work with our auditors. We give them the trial balance, and so we don't want numbers changing because they're going to start as of then, so we can't have numbers changing. The other things on the enterprise funds, so we were just talking about water and sewer. Those being enterprise funds are full accrual accounting. So as an example, the revenues are booked and moved. It's not cash basis. So for let's say those that get a bill in August, you have 2 months that were in the prior fiscal year and 1 month that's in the next fiscal year. So we actually look at those registers when we do the billing, and we will book back 2/3 and then keep 1/3 in 26 and 2/3 goes back to 25. So the numbers always do change. And what we try to reflect in the report is really what everybody's mostly familiar with, and that's cash. We always talk about fund balance. We always talk about, you know, how much cash do we actually have sitting there? So doing accruals, oh, look, we have a lot more revenue. Well, revenue doesn't necessarily mean cash, and for cash flow purposes as well. So we always will come back to that. All right, investments. One of the big changes, and I'm going to talk about the net changes when we get to the fund balance section, but the city, years ago, the feds had, and still continue, we have the target of 2.75%. So when we were running our investment analysis, that's what we've been budgeting for, is looking at getting 2.75%. They continue to try to get, the inflation in check, trying to get, we're all aware of all the fun economic turmoil that is going on. Every news article, it's something new and different, whether it's tariffs or investments or what the market Fed fund rate is going to be put at. So what that means is that right now, we've been budgeting and have in the budget 2.75%, and right now, we're over 4.4% as of now. So we are still getting, over 1.7% higher returns than what we actually have budgeted. But we know it's going to get down. We know at some point the rates are going to go down, you would think. And so we want to make sure that we're not counting the chickens before they're hatched sort of thing. We don't want to budget for 5% and, we thought we had a really good balanced budget. We have all this extra interest revenue, and then it doesn't come to fruition. So we always stick with what the long-term outlook is, and then as the returns come in, we will manage through what those are. And if the target starts falling below 2.75, then we'll make budget amendment changes to say, hey, 2.75 is not good anymore, let's drop it to 2.5 or 2.25, whatever version that looks like. Because in the city's budget, we're always going out for 3 years. So we want to make sure the crystal ball prediction of what's going to happen over the next 3 years, who knows, but we at least keep it very conservative on that. So with that, the majority of the investments are in the pooled accounts and also with Sage Advisory. That's been working very well. Council had approved a couple years now ago a new investment company, an Avenue, versus what we would traditionally do with CDs or pooled accounts. And so we've had our money put in with Sage Advisory, which basically is purchasing just T-bills. And they manage a spread, and they manage the amounts and percents and how far they go out. So we keep pretty much everything right now within a year liquid, and everything post a year out that we're looking at needing is being managed by Sage, and it's been working very well. So as the rates come down, Sage has longer investments on the horizon for us, so we actually maintain higher yields as the rates come down. So that has actually been working out very well. So we're happy with that and continue to use them. On our next page here, we're looking at where we're ending with the city on the revenue. So what you'll see is the top 10 revenues from the city, the budget, and then where we're at on the year to date. You'll notice a few are perhaps off, a little bit different. Nothing too far out of line. The ones like here, like for the school liaison, for instance, we get a cost share we have 2 officers in the program, and then Oakland County has another number of officers, I don't know offhand, I think 4 in the program. And so when Oakland County did the changes for the sheriff's contracts, like they did for us this year with assessing, they did sheriff's last year. So we end up, even though we don't have sheriff's services, the way the agreement is, we still end up taking on the additional allocation costs with that. We see, of course, revenue being higher to date. And then this is one that I continue to keep talking about and bringing up with council on the revenue from the cable franchise fees. So the reporting hasn't come in yet. But this is funds that, as they continue to digitize cable services, then we no longer can collect, well, we can, they won't collect for us and allow us to, because the law says it has to be cable TV. So when you're doing streaming services, you no longer get the fee payments on that. This has been declining. We were 250, 275,000 at the peak. We're down to budgeting 220. We still, there's always a 3-month delay, so we'll have more coming in. But I want to highlight it because this is one of our top 10 revenues, and it has been targeted and will continue to decrease. So we'll continue to monitor that as we go forward. The other one we talked about in the budget, and this will now be a reset marker in the revenue sharing from the state. And so we will be getting higher amounts going forward. We had that in the budget, but not in '25. So this is fiscal year end '25 ending. There's no budget amendments. The year's over, but we're just looking at where that's landing. And then building in the city and continues to be strong with the permits being above what a normal year would be. In the revenue return of it. So everything economically in the city on the top revenues is looking soundly on that one. You'll notice on the expense side of things, the one monitor highlight one is not a surprise, I don't believe, to anybody, but hospitalization. So the costs, I saw an article just a couple days ago where Blue Cross is like, we want high double 20-30% increases just because costs are going up and they need more money for yachts and stuff. So they are going to continue to push that through, and we haven't been able to see anything materialize that has done anything for really cost savings. I say that kind of on two sides of the sword of that, because the city has implemented multiple plans. So the city has saved money by the employees that have chosen like the HMO plans, right, versus the PPO plans. So the city has saved money, and then that savings gets countered with the double-digit increases that Blue Cross puts on all of the plans anyways. So if we were fully PPO, we would still be paying a lot more than even what the increases are, but there's so much change still, even from our brokers in the healthcare field, of what exactly is going on. They continue to explore options for us. I mean, we look at everything that Blue Cross allows you to look at that we can bring to council with suggestions. And we've been at a limit. Doing the multiple plans, having the tiered drugs has been about it. They're focusing mostly now on the tier designer drugs. That's been the biggest hit to the city behind our increases. But there is no avenue that Blue Cross allows us to choose to manage designer drug costs. Like, we can't make them take a different tier. We can't make, not even in the plan. Like, we'd have to scrap the PPO plan and move to off the shelf, like a preset plan from Blue Cross, to then be able to look at some different drug levels and tiers. So it's a monitor, because we know it's an unknown, and we all deal with that, of course, regularly with the cost of healthcare, but we're watching it. And as we get closer to August, should be next month or two, we should be able to start getting our rates now of what next year will be. So we will bring that back, and then, of course, amend accordingly when we get that afterwards. The rest of everything, everything's looking pretty decent otherwise, and so we don't have any concerns or notes on those. Here's just the look by department. That's just for council review. If there's questions on it, I'm not going to run through every single department, but everybody's been managing very well on the budgets. The department head team is fantastic. I mean, everybody, as Manager Banda will say, we're always talking about what's going on, monthly meetings, engineering, DPW. So it's working very well to make sure that we're getting ahead of any unforeseen items, and we're not dipping into things like contingency as much as we can, because we're trying to very well vet and be very cognizant of the tax dollars and making sure we're keeping that within budget. This next section here for council's review is just the parking. So in the quarterly, and that's why I want to bring this up also, because we're looking at making some changes to some of the items in quarterly. It's it's a report that evolves. So there's certain minimal things that we have to include. What are the expenses, year to date, last year's actual, that's it. And then where all the investments are. Council has to know where every dollar is being held, where the accounts are. That's all there is. Everything else is born out of the evolution of what council wants to look at, what's important. And this is an example, right? Like parking is one that's always, we heard it tonight, it's one that we want to keep at the forefront. So we specifically pull the parking fund out and note it in the quarterly report as a special item versus, there's not a page for all 80 funds that are in there. You're just looking at the ones that are important. So we're going to be looking at making some changes. And so if there's things coming forward, we have a lot of projects. So one of the ones we're going to be adding to the report is working with our project management director and DPW director, so Jason Warner and Nick Schaefer, because what we want to start including in the quarterly now is kind of those big items, like those top big ones when we have skate park, community house. Those are ones that are going to take time to do. So when we give the reports, like kind of what's the status as close to that date as we can for all those projects. So you can see how it's going financially, what the timelines are going to look like for all those projects. So, but if there's other things from council that you would like to see, please let Marcy or myself know. And we will be happy to tweak this and change it around because we want it to be as much value add as possible. So,
Do you want questions at the end or?
Whatever you want.
Oh, just on the parking topic.
Yep.
When we look at the revenues from it, we have bonds that we're paying. Can you just talk about how that compares to what our bond payments are and how we're doing?
Oh, sure. Yeah, right now, we're spending about 800,000 on the bonds. And so you'll see it's in the parking funds, the top expenses. You have the principal on the bonds at number 1, the interest at number 3, and capital improvements, which are doing repairs and heavy maintenance. There's nothing cheap in parking at all. It's all infrastructure repairs. It's big dollars. Those are the top costs. So when you look at the, almost 800,000, and this continues to go up each year. It's not a level set debt payment. So every year that debt payment will go up. So you're looking at about half of the parking fund is going to debt payments. So that goes through 35, and that's where we have on this section here.
I thought it was 30.
35.
Did I say 25? I meant 35.
I thought it was 30.
35.
Yeah, this is the parking bonds right here. So 2035.
20-year bonds.
Yep, yep. And so they're callable as of October this year. But the rates we're getting at them with the coupons are between 2% and 3%. So there's not really any incentive to try to spend down, and we're good with them right now. But that is something that we're always looking at, and that's where this sheet came from, is what are the debts outstanding? What are the interest rates? Because there may be a time when, we look at things and go, hey, we might be better off paying off some of this stuff than just writing out the high interest payments if there happens to be any.
So looking at it, our revenues exceed the bond payments and interest principal and.
Yep.
And the capital improvement costs, but our fund balance for parking is going down.
Correct.
Where's
Capital.
but this is capital here, right?
This is 1 years of capital.
So
if we
larger
look-
capital in outer years?
Yeah, so
that-
2 quick peeks. So here's the fund balance by year, and I think we're referring to is,
Yeah.
1-1, then it's 800,000, then it's 600,000, then it's 400,000. And all that comes into play on the planned expenses in the parking fund, and I will find it here. And that's the capital, because when we look 3 years out, we're planning on what repairs we're gonna do by year. Here we go. Here's parking fund. So when you look at the years, we're spending more than what we take in. And then if you look at the capital.
And I believe a lot of that was the surface lot improvements that we need to do.
Yep, so here it is, so you see this jump up, we're at 600, almost 700,000 that year, 460 that year, 530 in the third year, so 26, 7, and 8. It's all the lots getting systematically redone. We talked a little bit earlier with the one roll forward for Civic Center Drive here. That lot is in the parking system. So when we start redoing the lots and fixing drainage and underground, and if there's opportunities, we look at adding conduit for future electric charging areas, that all goes in the capital side. So operationally, the fund is making money and is doing fine. And then now we're just in a period where we're spending the capital expenses. But that doesn't necessarily go on forever. I mean, at some point, you get through the lots and they're repaired and they're okay again. And then you put money away to go forward the next, 30 years later when they break. And we're really trying to manage through that 35 timeline for the bonds. So we're doing all the lots and maintenance that we need to do on the decks. Because as soon as those bonds are done, that 800+ thousand, it's like 862 in that final year, that 860,000 will now be money that the fund is currently bringing in that now isn't a debt payment. So now that'll start being able to speed up any of the remaining capital outlay at that point. So we try to balance the dollars and get us at least across the finish line, so. Yep. But yeah, you will definitely see a decline over years. But that's why we have a fund balance policy, right? We're above the minimum amount, and that's what the money's there for. We want to do it, invest in the system, keep the assets good. It's a lot cheaper to fix stuff now than it is after you let it deteriorate. I'll jump then to this section here. So when we look at the fund balances, there's kind of the 4 categories. So discretionary general, there's no legal restrictions on any of these funds. This is money that is either funded by the general fund anyways, or council can fund it and move money freely. There's no legal requirements. For the roads, major and local streets, that's restricted by law. That money cannot go anywhere else. So when we look at these funds, we have them separate and not part of the larger categories. And then the same goes for water and sewer. We're not just, we need to balance the budget, let's take some extra money out of water and sewer. You are not legally allowed to do that. We do not do that, and no one should ever even think that that could happen because you legally can't. You cannot do that. The money has to stay in water and sewer funds. There's so much legislation around it. So that's why we break them out like this, to show both what the balances are and then also where the money is. So when we look now at drum roll to where we are right now tentatively for the year end. We have our ending fund balance in 24, so all combined 10.7, and then what we're looking at right now, 11.7. And so it's about 235,000 when you net the discretionary funds, when you net them together, that we're looking at ending at. It is wildly different between the funds, and that's part of the balancing that council addresses through policy and what they want to and how they want to spend the funds. So you'll notice that general fund is going up, good, general fund went up 1.2 million. Well, then facilities is down 500,000 and revolving equipment is burning down like half. So, when you net all those out, that's where you get to the 234, because those funds, they're all related to each other. Whatever short gets balanced from the other one. So even, we did the pull ahead for the cloud transition and the software upgrades. That is already in that. So that 235 that we're netting to the positive, that is where we are as of today for the report with the fiscal year ending. So we're still at a positive for the year. which is all good things. And then you'll still note that even in the multi-year as we presented, we're still positive each year for general fund continues to go up. Overall, it decreases a bit. It's a little flat, but it's mainly the biggest driver of this is revolving equipment. We still, some of these large items that we look to purchase that the city has, like Vector trucks and ladder trucks for the fire department and all these things, until you go to kind of price one out, these prices are all over the place. And so we don't really have a great, like we know it's a red area, like a watch area that we're watching for, because we know we're gonna need to spend more money in it, but until we go to replace it, we won't know what those costs will actually be. So we try to keep it as updated as possible, but until we go to submit the bid and get the RFP and get the quotes, then we know exactly, if we were high, low. So far, it's just been low, and then make those adjustments. So we'll continue monitoring that. And then that's also where we look at the efficiencies, like when council approved the multi-use, like the tractor, right? That we have trimming the trees on the trail and then also doing all these other attachments. We're getting more utility, even though it's expensive equipment, than having individual pieces of equipment. So the revolving equipment fleet is something that we continuously look at and monitor, because we want to make sure we're getting full use out of the vehicles and we don't have, and equipment, we don't have anything that we aren't needing. I don't have anything else on the fund balance side. This is one that we're gonna overhaul. I don't know if council finds a lot of use out of this section of the packet. We think probably not. So we're gonna be overhauling probably something with these last sections to kind of make this a little bit better. So.
Good idea.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's not that pretty, and it's just like a bunch of pages for not a lot of value in it, so. All right, any other questions? Otherwise, I'm, wrap that up.
Council, any questions?
Not a question, I just want to make one statement. So earlier in the presentation on the investments page, it did indicate Chase. We have a couple of accounts with Chase. I just want to put a disclosure out there because I do work for JP Morgan. Chase is a part of that organization. I specifically don't work in our government banking team. These accounts existed prior to, my joining city council. I do not make, decisions on who our service providers would be from a financial standpoint. I did vote for the bond, but I didn't, dictate who we use for that. And also I don't make investment, or I don't give investment advice. Those are two things that, based on my allowed participation for my company, the agreement we have with the city, that I'm not involved in. So I just wanted to put that out there in case people saw the connection with JP Morgan Chase. So.
Good clarification. Very good. Thank you.
Just my annual reminder.
That's right, that's right. Good clarification. We'll start down at the end.
So, I'm the person that talks a lot about general fund and where we are on that, which is amazing. We should be proud. We're a very conservative city. What is that percentage to the budget about? I know it was at 9.5
For just general
million.
fund,
Yeah,
you're at about 55?
55, yeah.
55%.
55%?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to continue to put out there that I feel like that is extremely conservative, and just keep that in mind as we move forward and we have some projects come up, maybe on infrastructure, they're more expensive, to not look at doing another bond and maybe looking at the general fund. I just want to
Absolutely.
say
That's
that.
a great point you bring
I
up.
mean,
Yeah.
thank
No,
you.
that's well, and to your point, Councilmember Jones, that's something that, for the residents and anyone wondering about that kind of process, every time we have those large purchases, and if it's at goals and objectives, we always vet those things, right? Like, okay, what are the rates now? Should we borrow money for the ambulance or the DPW truck? Do we cash fund it? And those are things that we want to be good stewards of those funds and get the most we can out of them. So you're right on. That's something that every time these projects come up, we will absolutely look at and make sure it's the best use.
I mean, we can be proud as a city that we have that emergency fund that's available there, so, thank you.
Councilmember Hauser?
Very briefly, I know this is obviously online and available to the public because it's part of the packet, which is published. But is this also on the website as a dedicated link, or someone, if they were curious to know about these reports? Or I know some of the stuff is, but is this something that if a resident wanted to see on a quarterly basis and didn't necessarily know was it a packet they'd be able to find?
I will check. I don't believe it is individual quarterly reports on it. Do we? I don't think. Yeah, we
think
can
that's
do
a
it
good
because we have
idea.
the section with the, like with the budgets and the audits and all that. We could add in like the most recent.
Is that possible?
4 quarterlies
I
and then
don't want to give you
rotate
more
them.
work to do, and I would obviously ask the mayor if that's something.
Oh, it's not. It's super easy. The website's super easy to use.
Okay.
So yeah, that's something we could add for sure. And then it'll be nice also, I'm hoping we can get some integrations, or I have to make them. When we get the new cloud software, that we'll actually be able to have some really cool new reporting tools that we should be able to integrate even to the website to have like some usability and things with it, which will be really nice enhancements too.
That's all I had. Thank you for all the information, though.
Wonderful. So from my standpoint, Treasurer Maggio, thank you for continuing complete, transparent, and fiscal responsibility for the city. You and Marcy and the whole team do a great job. I asked you several questions earlier today, so thank you for those responses. You highlighted a couple of my thoughts for next year as we start thinking about next year, equipment review, what goes in terms of criteria, as well as funding sources, lease versus buy, as well as looking at healthcare costs. However, overall, as I look at this fiscal year wrap-up for the budget, for the city of Rochester, incredibly proud of our AAA bond rating. When we look at our general fund revenues, they are $18.3 million, which is 107% of what we had planned for, and yet our general fund expenses are less. They're 97% of what we planned for, 16.4. All good news. As well as I look at the cash that we have on hand of $33.5 million, and that is earning 4.4%. All of our debt, all of the financial responsibilities we have to pay out are less than that 4.4%. So we are, right now, interest rates can always change on the money, but right now we are ahead there. And we continue to have our own full-time police, fire, and funding those exceptional public services for our residents. And last, as Councilmember Jones pointed out, we have over $11 million in our general fund balance. We are continually monitoring and looking at future potential challenges where we would have to spend fund balance in the sense of an emergency. However, that's a very strong balance sheet, and very proud of the work that administration and this council has done as on this report out. Council, is there a motion or questions?
The motion we'd look at would be for the council's consideration are for these 4 amendments as presented here.
Debbie.
Go ahead.
Councilmember King. I'll make a motion to accept these 4 proposed budget amendments.
Motion by King,
I'll support.
support by Trent. I was looking at you, Debbie.
I'm sorry, I was looking at
She looked the other way.
I know, she looked the other way. We have a
We're tag
motion, we have
teaming up-
support.
We're tag teaming up here.
Any discussion on the motion? City Clerk, the roll call.
Savia.
Yes.
Vixen.
Yes.
Hauser.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you. That wraps up the fiscal year. On to the next one.
So much.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item F, which is consideration of the city manager's memo regarding a periodic personal review for the finance director. Kind of timely right after that presentation. So council, you have this in the packet, or you received it from the city manager. This, for the public, this is the hand you get dealt, I'll say. If you're in public service, you can choose to have your annual review either in private in closed session or in a public meeting. So Treasurer Maggio has elected public comments. So what I plan to do is I will open up with a few comments, then I will let council have any comments they would like to make, and then ultimately looking for any sort of motion or motion regarding compensation. In the letter, it was requested a 3%, which is in line with the other employees, as well as an additional if you will, compensation adjustment based on market conditions of $10,000. So Treasurer Maggio, thank you. Thank you for everything you've done and continue to do for the city. You wear many hats, not just the treasurer. You're our AI expert, you're part of our fire department, you're our IT expert. You bring your intelligence and hard work ethic to the city every day. Thank you. So very happy with all the work that you continue to do for us. Your results are excellent. I will continue to challenge you in the areas of communication. I know you love this spot. Continue. You are challenging yourself by putting yourself out there as the treasurer, and in the associations, you continue to challenge yourself. Public speaking and making presentations only gets easier the more you do it. And so you continue to do that, and I'm just going to continue to challenge you. That's my, I guess, one opportunity for improvement. So, council, any comments? Councilmember Jones.
As far as communication, I guess how we define that, because I am one of the, I think, many questions that I ask, and you are always wonderful about quick responses. You never make me feel like it's a dumb question. I am so proud to have you working for the city. I think you do an incredible job. You serve on other state boards, I believe, or you're involved in other things representing us, and that's a lot of your time that you spent, and that gets us on the map in other areas and in the state, and I certainly appreciate the time you do. And I love seeing you at the fire department for pancake breakfast. And so thank you for all you've done. I absolutely support the 3% increase, as well as it's actually $11,000 for the matrix to bring him up to what would be comparable to other cities that we're compared to. So, thank you.
Councilmember Hauser?
I would concur. Anthony, I've gotten to know you obviously the past couple of years, and you have been a valuable resource. Any question I've had, you've always answered it right away and used, again, the most simplest terms so that I can understand exactly what you're talking about. So I couldn't concur more in the recommendation for the adjustment in your compensation.
So is that a motion
That
by
is a motion.
Jones and a
Oh, I'm
support
sorry.
by Hauser? Okay, thank you. Councilmember Trent?
Yes, I support that. But I would like to thank Anthony for all you've done. I started, 2022 as an appointed official, and I didn't know hardly anything about finances and how a city runs. I would say close to nothing, and I appreciate all your patience. And you do always answer my questions right away, and no matter how they may sound a little blunt sometimes, or I hope they're trying to be as kind as possible, you are always like, no, I get it, I get where your confusion is, and so I appreciate that. And yes, on the communication side, just some, I'm in budget and finance, so I appreciate that being worked on. So I would, you definitely deserve the adjustment and the 3%. I guess I'm a little confused as to how it all works, but I think it all adds up to 11,000 maybe. Is that my understanding?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Then that's what I supported.
Thank you.
So we have a motion on the floor. Any other comments, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, I just say thank you, Anthony. You do a good job and very easy to work with. If I have questions, I always get answers very quickly and easy to work with. So I appreciate it and keep on going. Thank you.
Councilmember King, I mean, you're kind of, you got to say something.
What hasn't been said,
Yeah.
but I mean, just, I come from finance, Marilyn, but it's different, and understanding how governments work is a little bit different, but you've made the process so easy. I appreciate all the budget workshops, the extra time you spend there, making sure that we have a very healthy financial, balanced budget is incredibly important, and you do it. And you have some assistance back there that helps too, but it's wonderful, and the transparency, and, answering any questions we have. So appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I absolutely support this.
Yes.
One final comment, because as you mentioned in the beginning, this could have been a closed session or an open session, and I really admire you wanting to do it as an open session, so you would take all the feedback and the citizens of Rochester can hear that, so I appreciate that.
City Clerk, the roll call.
Salvia.
Yes.
Vixen.
Yes.
Hauser.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, council.
Aren't you happy that's done?
Exciting every year.
I say, I would be really happy. I'd be going home going, yes, that's done. Actually, I have a little song that goes through my head from high school every time I accomplish something and I'm happy, and it goes back to high school. All right, so moving on to item 10, which is our boards and commissions. The first one is the community house, which I will take. July 15th was our last board meeting. I am so excited to announce that the community house modernization is out to bid. It's out to bid. Bids went out, I think, today. There will be contractor review meetings next week at Community House. So council members, if you would like to be part of those and do the walkthrough with the contractors, you're welcome to. Please reach out to Alan. And so that is happening. Of course, that is going to get reviewed and come back to council, but I'm very excited that that is taking place. We welcomed a new board member, Lynn Oates. We also have a new proposed board member, another female. We are working on the why for the community house, which I think is very important as we're looking at this modernization with Sue Keels' help. There will be a $20,000 cost for the tent, which the community house will be paying for or looking for sponsors. So during construction, there will be a tent on site. That is probably where we're going to be having Festival of Trees, since everything seems to be under construction in town. So Festival of Trees will likely be there. And I think that's all from the community house. Exciting stuff. Next up, we would have Pink Creek Trailways. That would be Councilmember Sage. He is out of town due to a family emergency, so we will move that one to the next meeting unless city administration, do you have any updates on Trailways we should cover?
Other than I know they're interviewing some candidates for a new director, which is great. And then I'll continue to work with Eagle, trying to get this permit so we can get this bridge off the hook here, off the
Starting pad, something like that.
Thank you. Hook, I'm thinking my Trout Unlimited guys, they're
Yeah.
going to do one more cleanup of under the bridge, which will help save us some money so that when we do the demo eventually, all that debris will be cleaned out. So they're going from Tinkin all the way down to that bridge. I think there's 37 log jams. So they have a robust group of people that are going to come and work on that. So that will help us in the long run also.
You know, when they're done with that, I would love to have Trout Unlimited come and tell
I
us
think that's a great
everything they
idea.
do
You got it.
for us.
I
Those are
would
great
love it.
guys.
They are great guys.
They are.
There's
Yep.
3 chapters that are great, so, okay.
Yep, Cemetery Advisory Board,
We
Councilmember
met on
Jones?
July 15th, and we now have, the monument section's done, where we've added 76 spaces. So they tore out the cement, and they put the plots in, it's been surveyed, platted, and they will be put on the map. The 76 spaces will become available, but we are working on pricing. So they're going to be on hold for right now. Just as a side note, because it is very expensive to run our cemetery, because the monuments are harder to mow around, as they come in, our mowing expenses will go up. The city clerk is looking at columbarium prices, so we can add a few of those. That will go into next year's budget. We continue to talk about the fence. Right now, a new fence is on hold, and we're kind of focusing on maybe doing something with the gates as a new entrance. And that's about it.
Thank you. Councilmember King, Rara?
Yeah, so we had a similar meeting at RARA to go over the second quarter budget amendment, as well as the 2026-2028 proposed budget and projections for consideration. So we will be reviewing those in more detail and then at the next meeting. But as far as the budget amendment, it was very similar theme. There were some capital outlay projects that, mainly the entryway, we're finally getting near starting the construction there. But that was supposed to be in the prior year. It transferred over, so we had contributed more to the fund balance. We're now drawing those funds down. We're still at a roughly a healthy 29-30% fund balance, so RARA is in good financial shape. The city of Rochester Hills, which pays for RARA via a millage. Their millage comes due this year, and so they are launching their campaign for the millage renewal. No increase there, so it does not, impact our arrangement, which we pay for RARA through our budget. It's I think 124,000 is our contribution annually. Does that sound about right, Anthony?
It is.
Putting you on the spot.
Plus the addition of 160.
160? Okay. So Rochester Hills will be going for that, and hopefully that will pass. And then just participation for the year has been really great. They're on pace to exceed the second season of revenue and participation year over year. And there were a lot of great events this month. I don't have anything new that's upcoming right now, but we had Bites and Beats by the Paint Creek. There was tons of trucks, movie in the park, several movies in the park. And then there was a pitch, hit, and run event at Borden Park. A lot of great events that they're supporting in the city. And that's it for me.
Wonderful, thank you. Next up is DDA. Councilmember Trent, I think I have this one. 'Cause
I was not there.
That's what I thought.
That's right.
Just clarifying, because we didn't talk about it ahead of time. So DDA meeting was July 16th. We received the plaque from Oakland County for the Main Street accreditation, and also we talked about the fact that in 2027 in Detroit, they will be hosting the Main Street Conference.
Wow.
So they will be
That's
bringing
pretty cool.
tours to Rochester, I'm sure. So that'll be kind of fun in 2027. Taylor gave an update on the farmer's market. August 9th will be Dog Days at the farmer's market. We love our pets, so that will be fun. Also talked about the fact that how well it's going relocating the market to the top. Normally, when you relocate a market, there's a 25% decrease, but things are up. We've got more vendors, more participation. Everyone's happy, so that's really good, and it's good practice to move it over to the Gram, so they appreciated that. Speaking of the Gram, when they dig into the soil, you find things when you dig into the soil. So underneath where the stage is to go, as they dug into the soil, it was softer than expected. So came back at a higher cost. We're out getting a second opinion on that. Stay tuned. Everything happens when you dig into the dirt. 2025 holiday presentation, so talked about Big Bright Light Show, Festival of the Trees, Holiday Window Contest. It is the 20th anniversary of the Big Bright Light Show this year. So the lights will turn on November 24th, is that right? Through January 18th. So they will extend through the football season, through the Lions. So hopefully we get to go to the Super Bowl and the lights will be on. December 1st through the 14th is the Light Fight. So looking for some of our neighborhoods to participate in the Light Fight. I put a call out to all the HOA directors saying, let's get some other neighborhoods to participate. We've got a lot of strong downtown neighborhoods, but let's get some of our HOA neighborhoods into it. We had an update on Love Local Art, including the Dotmocracy, where we voted on what we like about art in downtown. That took place during the Makers Market. It'll also be done again at the Farmers Market. We have the police foot patrols happening. Thank you, Chief. I think those are really well received. People in the summer love seeing the police out and about walking around. And then Nick Banda gave a business development update, and so I know he's going to be bringing one to City Council in the future, which I think will be good to have here as well. And that's all from DDA. Any questions?
That's great.
Okay. Councilmember Hauser, Asset Management.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. And I apologize in advance to my colleagues. This update might be just a little bit longer than they normally are, but we went over the proposed water rate increases, so I don't think it's necessary to do that again. But to piggyback on the discussion that Anthony had made for us, I thought it would be worthwhile to give a brief update to the residents as to how the city plans appropriate funds for some of these capital improvements that we went through. So just by way of background, the Asset Management Committee It's a committee, I'm on it, Mayor Selvia, Mayor Pro Tem Bixon, a couple residents from each side of the town, which I believe they're both HOA representatives from their part of town, as well as many people from the city, Anthony, Marcy, Nick, Jason, Mr. Banda. We oversee the city's infrastructure, both above and below grade. And we review rate structures, we evaluate the condition of DPW equipment, plan capital improvement plans for the city. And in that capacity, we're constantly reviewing and evaluating the following. This would be what we do, stormwater management and sanitary storm sewers. We review roads, sidewalks, and parking, and we look at parks, trails, and other natural resources. And so as part of this review, the committee will constantly evaluate the current needs shared to us by administration and the residents. And we use various evaluation methods to plan for future projects throughout the city. Now, these forecasts that we discuss internally, we go through and try and get a better understanding of when the work will be done, but more importantly, determining the cost, okay? And that cost is significant because we're always looking for various funding sources, as Anthony alluded to, whether that's fund money, whether that's grant money, or there's state money that we can get, whatever dollars we can find to offset the cost of the proposed work in order to mitigate that impact to our residents. And once we establish that time and money criteria, it comes to City Council and we review it for consideration. And so one of the things, and trying to make this relevant, for instance, and I'm going to wrap this up here soon, is we got a lot of rainfall today, okay? And when there's a lot of rainfall, obviously it has to go somewhere. So we consider stormwater and sanitary storm sewers, okay? And how do we manage those concepts? And we do that by always evaluating what we have. We evaluate the condition of what we have, and we look to see how we can improve it in a timely and fiscal manner. So for instance, in January of '24, our city council approved, tens of thousands of dollars in improvements for that work. In May of '24, we approved $20,000 for a professional stormwater program. And in August, we considered and approved another extension to our stormwater program. And we have up on the books here $500,000 in expenditures in stormwater sewer repair projects that we've done. Okay, and similarly for road projects as well. We've done street resurfacing and curb projects in May of '24. That was $30,000. We have spent $1.1 million in curbs and roads on the east side of town, where the Asset Committee has worked collaboratively with the residents. And Nick over at DPW had several meetings with residents to listen to their feedback, personally hearing what they were concerned about, taking those concerns and coming back to us and seeing what we could do to facilitate a resolution that addressed those concerns. It was budget friendly, and more importantly, expedited the process and condensed it from a 2-year project to a 1-year project to reduce the impact of that. And the cost, too. We were able to lock in that cost. So we have spent over close to $2 million on roads and sewers in the past 2 years. And then obviously the parking deck. We went through those numbers that you presented to us, okay? So these parking decks are constantly, or the parking structures and the parking lots are always going to need improvement. So we try and forecast ahead of time. So this is just a sampling and a very high-level summary of some of the work the Asset Management Committee does. And I think over the next few months, as we continue to have these meetings and we have these updates, I think it's important for, all of us, but more importantly, the public to really truly understand what the Asset Management Committee is doing, what they've done, and how we look prospectively into the future for projects that we are looking to undertake. And so if anyone has any questions about the Asset Management Committee, please reach out to one of us or reach out to any of us on the colleague, or Mr. Banda will give you a cell phone number at the end of the meeting and call him any time of the day or night. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hauser. Any questions, Council, of him?
No.
Okay, next up, we've got the Historical Commission, which is SAGE. I will probably just kind of take that a little bit and move it into item H, which is a report on America 250 and Heritage Days. Regarding America 250, so today I had a meeting, which is kind of our cross-community coordination meeting regarding America 250, which is the OPC, Rochester Hills Museum. We're going to expand it to include the library, the chamber, and all of the all of our amazing organizations here locally. So we are excited to be planning for America's 250th birthday, which we'll be celebrating next year, January 1, 2026 to December 31st, 2026. So as a part of that, I am going to form the Rochester America 250 Committee tonight. So I'm going to list the people that I would like to appoint to this committee. The purpose of this committee is to promote and plan and conduct events and activities in Rochester to celebrate America's 250th birthday. This term will expire November of 2026, so it is a time-limited committee. And so who I would like to appoint is Don Senkowitz, Gail Petrie. I know the name, how to pronounce it, and then I look at it and I get confused.
I know,
Gail
yeah.
Petrie, Sarah Helfrich, both of them are very involved with the DAR. Christy Trevorrow from the DDA, Marcy Moriwaki from City, and Megan Frazzo from the City, as well as from the council, Councilmember Trent, because she has been involved with Dinosaur Hill and therefore Heritage Days, and myself, the mayor. So that is the committee that I would like to appoint for America 250. We do have a next meeting scheduled. In terms of Rochester's commitment to this, what I would like to communicate is that we are going to be holding in our municipal park a city event the weekend after Memorial Day, so May 30th through May 31st, 2026, America 250, Rochester's Homecoming. So excited to have this birthday celebration in our park. So it'll include all of the elements of Heritage Days, plus so many other participants. So more to come on that, but that will be part of this committee's work is on that. So along those lines, I also want to bookmark two other dates that we know for America's 250. On May 16th in Mount Avon Cemetery, the DAR is organizing the historic marker that will be placed in the cemetery. So that's May 16th, 2026. Memorial Day is May 25th, which will be also in Mount Avon with our normal parade route. And then to kick off the year in town, very fitting that we approved the library contract tonight. The library will be hosting it's about 15 panels of the American Revolution experience that the DAR will be hosting, and it will be in the library. So that will kick off the year, January 16th through the 18th, or 10th through the 18th, and it will also coincide with Fire and Ice. So really fun thing, historic. I know history isn't for everybody, but good educational content in the city. Phew.
Wow.
So that is America 250. So right now, there's a lot of planning going on, so that next year we can just celebrate and have a lot of fun. City Clerk, do we need any roll call vote on that committee?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
No? Okay, thank you. All right, that concludes our agenda. Moving on to general and miscellaneous, I'd like to thank all the department heads for being here tonight. Any comments from a department head back there? No? City Clerk?
Nothing, thank you.
City Manager?
Cell phone, 225-645, there's just a public service announcement for Mr. Schaefer. You've seen we've had some rather fun rains lately. The pond's loving it, the creek's loving it, the grass is loving it, irrigation meters are loving it, the street's not loving it so much. So just a public service announcement. If you are on a street that has a catch basin and you see that it's blocked, if you can try to keep that clean from grass clippings, and mostly grass clippings at this time of year, it certainly leaves in the fall. That would help DPW. We do our best to sweep the streets. We monitor when there's rain like today. They're out there all over the place looking. So we appreciate your help. That's it.
Thank you. City Attorney?
Nothing, thank you.
Councilmember King?
Nothing for me this evening.
Councilmember Jones?
Nothing from me this evening. I know.
Councilmember Trent?
Oh, just a couple of things. I recently was sent a video by a science teacher his name is Mr. Rich Lund, a high school science teacher. Do you know of him?
I saw it, yeah.
Oh,
Because you sent it.
Oh, that's right. I did. I forgot. He came to our butterfly garden at the Rochester Municipal Park, and he spent I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes doing this really cool video about how wonderful Rochester was and and saving the monarch butterfly. He showed the park, he showed the butterfly garden, he showed there was milkweed on the banks of the river, and he also showed a beautiful little monarch sign that tells how we're saving the monarch butterfly on our signage. So I really wanted to say thank you to Mr. Rich Lund, and I also wanted to thank Jessica Scavo of Michigoat, who brought her goats to the Fireman Training Center or training grounds for a video shoot highlighting how her herd offers a sustainable solution for managing Phragmites and other invasive species. I was there, and Stephanie Berto-Smith came, and also the Sustainability Detroit Network did some filming there as well, and I got to talk about how great the city of Rochester was and what they do in sustainability and conservation space. Yes, just to give a little information about invasive species, Phragmites are really a horrible invasive species, not to mention there's autumn olive and also buckthorn, but we're focusing on Phragmites, and they wreak havoc on our Michigan's ecosystems and are also costing the state millions of dollars trying to rid them, and it also ruins our wetlands, and we have some in our city. So we are going to work with SISMA to try to get rid of those, and SISMA is the Cooperative Invasive Species Management Area, who has grants, and I met with them. It's quite a few days for me last week. Met with Patrick Kniff, the director of SISMA, and I also met with Linda Davis-Kirksey, who's our grant writer, at the kayak launch, and hopefully we can start getting rid of some Phragmites there and other invasives and start restoring that little section next to the kayak launch. So stay tuned. I have some ideas.
Thank you. Councilmember Hauser.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Just for me, wrapping up, I am going to increase my office hours as open office hours as the mayor. So we've always had coffee with the mayor at the OPC. That is on the fourth Tuesday. But I am also going to add a new office hours, and because maybe you know this, maybe you don't, I'm very into health, wellness, and fitness and mobility, and I want Rochester to be a blue zone, so it's going to be Walk with the Mayor. Walk with the Mayor. It's going to be twice a month. We're going to meet at the World War II Memorial, the new rededicated, and so the next one, I'm going to try to do them in the evening or in the morning, change the hours just so that people have access and can ask whatever questions. I think as long as you can walk, I've got short legs. You got to be able to walk as fast as I can. So August 13th at 7 p.m. will be the next Walk with the Mayor. And with that, Stuart. Mayor Pro Tem.
I just assumed you forgot me. I was just going to piggyback on something Nick said. I had a short drive during the torrential downpour, and I saw two different citizens, neighbors of ours, out in the pouring rain trying to free up the sewer line, the water thing. So I thought that was very nice and kind of what Rochester is. So thank you.
That's nice. Meeting adjourned.
Let's go.
There it is, America in Bloom.
Did you walk, Christian?